guys successfully defeated Gunner and his crew. Varric imprisoned one of the paladins in the brig, and as I recall, it ended with, it's now about late afternoon, early evening, the sun's just beginning to set as you hit the open sea. Taking a break from the kind of intense discussions you were having as Autoluke joined in after your tense encounter with Faraday. Cass, you set out to look for some food, I think was the last thing that you said.
Yeah, there was like a kitchen-ish area. Right
There was
before.
a kitchen.
Yeah.
So as you do, you hear thudding sounds, and you hear towards that direction, you hear shouting.
In the kitchen?
Like a group of people.
Who the we got stowaways, and I go run to them.
Okay. As you bust open the door, you see a somewhat familiar-looking, large, full-blooded orc, wearing a chef's coat, tattoos along the forearms, and behind him, he's got 6 prisoners that are also like clearly dressed up. You just hear as like right as you before you open the door, you just hear, "Yes, chef!" And then everything stops.
I kick open the door, gun in hand.
Yeah, you kick open the door. Everything stops, and you just watch as this individual turns and looks at you.
Oh, hey, good to see you again. You're under our employ once more. Continue as you work. If you could make food, that would be great. Very hungry, us and our friends.
Made persuasion check with disadvantage.
Oh no.
Disadvantage. That's a natural 20, and then a 16. So over 30, I think. 29.
Okay. You watch as he really quick, I'm going to link this in the Discord general chat. You watch as this individual like looks over and just go, "Chef Boris, continue the service." And he steps out with you, and he just goes, "Remind me your name."
I was going to ask the same. Cass, pleasure to see you again.
I'm bored in Remley.
Wonderful to meet you.
Oh my
Borden.
gosh.
You've heard of this guy. He was super famous in Orphan. Legendary chef. Kind of in the past few years dropped off. No one's really heard of him. And you do recall seeing him in the prison. And on your brief look at the kitchen, it does look like there have been some serious upgrades to the kitchen since the ship has been repaired. So you watch as he kind of like pulls you in and goes, "So we heard a little bit about the battle, yeah? I take it Gunner's gone. He's dead."
He is in fact dead, yes.
See, now that's a shame, because he and I sort of had an agreement. I had an idea about when this ship were to take port, that we were to take customers onto the ship, sort of perform service for the different towns that we'd visit, and turn a bit of a profit. Gunner was an investor, and he had made some agreements. That
Borden, was it?
That's right.
I am just going to stop you there because already I love this idea so much. Whatever your arrangement with Gunnar was, I'll match it, and then if we need more,
See,
we
that's
can
all
go from
well and
there.
good, but I don't think you understand the wicked ways of our world here. In fact, just come here, you. And he like grabs you and like pulls you into the kitchen.
Okay. I'm
He
not so
takes- he
great.
takes
My,
you-
trying to
he takes you over
frantically
to
roll
the-
my sleeves.
Yeah, he takes you over to the pantry and just says, "Come here." And he goes over to this area that's kind of like got this somehow refrigeration system that's powered by steam and clockwork. And as he steps in, he takes you over to this like large cut of some kind of meat. And he just says, "Now you touch this."
With my hands?
Touch it.
Okay. I place a couple fingers on it.
Gunner's guys sourced this Lemurian Hydra, he says. Right? What does that feel like to you?
Feels
You
raw.
can give me a nature check if you like.
I'm good at those.
Feels raw.
Okay, 13.
13. Of course it's raw, you fucking plank. It's not been cooked yet. The point is, you see that right there, those striations?
Mm-hmm.
This is wyvern meat. Wyvern.
I think I have some of that.
Okay. So I sourced Lemurian Hydra,
Mhm,
and Gunnar
yes.
brings me wyvern. Do you see the problem here?
So it is a sourcing issue.
Yeah, you could say it's a sourcing issue. So you ask me, and he takes as he's talking, he takes a menu and like slaps it in your chest. It's like, you ask me to recreate my Oran Empire menu for you with no Lemurian Hydra, and you and me, we're gonna have a fucking problem. So if you want a proper service, I need proper materials.
Okay, shouldn't be that bad. Now, when you say Hydra, you mean, is there anything special about this, or do you need us to go deep sea fishing?
Can I speak with someone else?
No.
Look, I'm not asking you to muscle down the Hydra and take it out yourself, okay? But if you want me to serve something and call it Hydra to people,
Right.
I will. It will be Hydra and nothing else. So as he kind of walks you through the kitchen and some of the issues he's been having, which mainly revolve around getting exotic ingredients, the chef and his crew can definitely, in addition to doing other things around the ship like manning guns and whatnot,
At ease. At ease.
they can definitely prepare meals for you, and depending on how much you invest in it, will have certain effects. So if you
Oh.
find exotic ingredients such as meat from a Lemurian Hydra, he can, in addition to a gold cost, at the max, create a hero's feast.
Oh shit. Okay.
Mm.
So as you go out into the world, or if you just want to try to procure exotic items, he can do that. He can also just perform other feasts for you for certain gold prices per eater that'll carry over a floating inspiration die, depending on how much you invest.
Okay. I like it. Now, Borden, this is all I understand. You need many things, and well, as your new employer, me and my friends, I'm going to speak for them. We are more than willing to go and do all of this. Is there like a timeline? Because I love the idea of this exotic sort of traveling. Who's discording me?
That's yeah.
Is
Oh
this
man,
important?
I cannot. I'm so in love with this idea.
Okay, that is a lot of stuff. Uh, you know what? We'll figure out the details later.
Dice grapes? Oh my god.
Perhaps tasting is in order.
I'm just going through the menu. I just stopped speaking mid.
He like pulls 2 out of your hand and he says, "If you're looking to order tonight, we are doing the dinner service."
Okay. You know what? I'll be right back. I'm gonna take this menu. I just have to show it to others.
Perfect. So where is your group convening?
I think I'm up on deck and I'm talking to Chalice about like feminine guiles. We're just like,
Yeah.
have you heard of feminine guiles before? Like, I feel like you would be really good at that. Barrett taught me a little bit about that.
Yeah, she looks at you and says, "Honey, I wrote the book on feminine guiles."
You definitely seem like that type of person. Totally. Yeah, I get it.
As you're having this conversation, Cass, you walk up. Samugi, you're out here too, I'm gonna say, along with Alara. I would say, Cass, as you approach, you see like Chalice gives you a look of like, "The fuck are you doing here?" But you approach nonetheless.
I place a hand on. I walk up and place a hand on Sundar's shoulder, like opposite of Chalice, and then like lean in between just a little bit. Look at what we have on the ship. There's like an entire crew down there. This orc guy, kind of intimidating, can make all of this. Like,
Is this food?
It's
I like
food.
whip it. And I'm so into it. Oh my god.
Only catch.
Guys and stars. Okay, what's the catch?
We need to catch everything. So, if we want to eat it, I'm under the assumption we need to be the one to find it.
Okay. Okay, so like trolled meat,
But we paid people before, and
hulking crabs.
To be fair, all that menu there, he can just make that any day.
Oh.
So you don't have to like go source those materials, but he can make something extra special if you are wanting to put on specifically a feast. And I'll say you have a steady reserve of like semi-exotic materials. So he can do the lesser feast, but it'll just come with like a gold price. But for the hero's feast specifically, that's why you need exotic materials.
Okay.
There is an asterisk under the breakfast meal. I cannot handle this. So good. I look at. Oh, you go.
Just gonna ask if does the exotic ingredient have to match the dish that he's preparing? Does it have to be that, or it can be like a
I'll
generic?
make you something entirely new. So if you like kill like an ancient red dragon or something like that, and like and harvest pieces of it that you think would be equivalent to like an exotic material, then he could take like he could make like ancient dragon fillets or something like that, and he'll make like a gourmet meal around the thing if you guys can identify and find that thing. Now, if you were specifically just like, fuck it, we just want to spend money on this, you could go to a market and try to find exotic ingredients too. It'll probably just be pretty pricey.
We could so very easily set up a supply chain between like Monster Hunter Guild straight into our pockets, straight into the bellies of Karsus Folly, or New Callum.
Yeah, this is
That'd be awesome.
like my Sundar's eyes are watering. She's like, this could change everything. This is the most important thing that has ever happened to us, and I mean that even after killing Gunnar.
And it's a pretty good reward.
Okay.
Well,
I mean, should we have
we should
dinner
probably
now?
check the rest of the ship.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do a scavenger hunt. Make sure no, like you said, stowaways,
Yeah.
and traps, or anything like that. Gunner might have set.
feel like every time we steal the ship, we get a few extra people that we weren't trying to steal, but
Mm-hmm. Also,
I
does
think we need.
anybody? Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say we definitely need to track down Leland.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe we should just call him now and see where he is because maybe if it's on the way to New Callum, we can just like scoop him up.
um, which one
'Cause
of
we
you
have
has
the-
a stone?
Um, it's just in our freaking general group pile.
Yeah.
I whip it out.
Hmm.
Ch- Leland, it's Captain Sandara, and the rest of the crew. We're not all dead.
There's a long pause, and just goes, sorry about that. Yes, Captain?
Are you available for employ? We've got a ship again. We've got the ship again.
Very long pause. Well, I'm in port at New Callum right now. My rate's gone up.
Understandable. You're a valuable asset. Okay, perfect. I mean, we're heading towards New Callum, so maybe we'll meet up with you in a couple of days, a day and a half. I don't know.
Very well, then. I'll let the crew know.
Okay, Leland is for hire. Sounds like his.
He'll add one more thing. I will say my employment will be contingent on me being able to select my own crew, so you'd have to bring on my guys too.
Okay, yeah. I mean, if they're trustworthy, not sketchy guys, Leland. We know how you roll.
You just have to bring my guys.
Okay, Leland. We will see you in a day or two and talk about it. I put the stone down. He's being a little weird, but I think when we see him in person, we can work it out. He's got some guys and sounds very attached to them.
Okay.
Okay. We're not that rich, but right.
No. Yeah.
That's fine.
Um,
Leland's worth it. I mean,
Yes.
we kind of made a promise to him.
Yes.
Alex.
Yep.
Would I be able to, like, I know I don't have the power to do it right now. Would I be able to start marking runes on the ship to kind of like prepare for that hallow spell?
To do a hallow spell. I'll say that this ritual, you don't have to do the 24 hours all at once.
Okay.
I'd say the actual casting time of it would be about an hour, but it's like 23 of those hours are like it's a thing where it's like a
Kind of builds up.
100 it's like 100-step spell. So there are
Yeah.
checkpoints where you could kind of stop and kind of come back to. So you could
Okay.
totally be working on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell you guys, I'm gonna try to do what I can to make sure that I don't lose the ship ever again, because it just got so much better now that we have a buffet on the ship.
Yeah, that's very reasonable.
You just going
You
to
see her run to the kitchen. I wonder if they make lobster mac.
Yeah.
Lobster.
yeah, well, she's gone.
You hear give me a persuasion check, Alara, at disadvantage.
Those aren't great either way. That's a natural one.
Yeah.
Oh.
You hear like someone enthusiastically say lobster mash, and then you hear just screaming behind a closed door. You hear a door open, rapid footsteps, and you hear like a pot or a pan or something like clank as if it was thrown. And you just hear, "Get out!"
Shit, it's going bolting out.
Um, as that happens,
That's fun.
you see kind of another stowaway, as you mentioned, that you were talking about.
Oh shit.
I don't know.
Very ornately dressed, kind of beautiful, like blonde hair, perfectly like moosed off as though it's like very windswept. Wearing kind of clothes as though they're a noble. Um, uh, and you see him kind of holding a bowl of some kind of hot food as he steps over and just says, "Ah, yes, the chef can be a little temperamental. Uh, hello, everybody. You've all just killed Gunner and taken over the ship. Um, uh, my name is Carter Abbeyman. I represent the Bank of Aura, and I was Gunner's banker. So if you don't have any issues with it, I'd love to sit down for a chat to discuss a couple business items, little things we need to kind of take care of as part of his last will and testament."
Okay, I look through the group.
Uh,
We have to.
I mean, could how about is this like a morning thing? Maybe
This
after a like
look, I've got an opening from around 9 and 10 a.m. tomorrow, if that works for you.
I
Otherwise, I wouldn't be available for about a week or so,
So you
and
have all of Gunner's money?
I don't know. So he kept a majority of his assets with the Bank of Aura. There are some hard assets on the ship that. Have you heard of a Kingslayer clause?
And people from the bank, they know you're here.
Yes. Oh, as far as just throwing me overboard and being done with it, no, unfortunately, that won't make the paperwork go away, Mr. Manath.
what is this Kingslayer clause?
Well, basically a clause where, as part of their will and testament, a lot of notable people will say, "Hey, in the event that someone kills me, I want them to inherit XYZ." Sometimes it's a cursed relic. Other times it's a significant portion of wealth or a contract out for their death. I can't get into the specifics until we actually sit down, but I will say nothing too nefarious. I mean, depending on your situations, a sizable inheritance actually. So, the sooner we get these assets kind of offloaded to where they need to go, we'll sort of be done with it, and you can move on from there. So
Definitely.
again, now's a bad time. I get it. You're, getting used to the ship. However, Gunner's paid for my own contract through the rest of the year. So should you require any banking services, I'm happy to talk to anyone individually. Okay.
I mean, let's have this meeting in the morning if that's okay with you guys. But uh, like wipe some blood off of my side.
Why don't we skip it over breakfast?
Yeah,
We'll meet down here in sort of the dining area. I'll have a chat with Chef Borden, and let's, my treat, and let's see if we can do something a little special. Okay? Does that work for everybody?
Yep, sounds good.
Thank you.
All
Are
right,
there
folks.
any others on board that we should know about?
is there like a roster, a
Yeah.
manifest
Well, so there's a payroll.
payroll? That's
And
yeah.
if you want to take a look at that, I'd be happy to show you my ledgers. Um, Gunner sort of like to keep everything simple, so he just paid through on a year-by-year basis, minus a couple. Now, there will be some ameliorations to be dealt out as some of the crew have been murdered. Sorry, whatever. You see my point. So you may need a couple more bodies. Um, that probably would have to come out of your own pocket if you wanted to man the ship the way that Gunner did. Um, as far as anyone you haven't seen, there are 6 crew members who work under the chef. There's myself. Now, I'll say I don't. There's sort of a neutrality policy with my bank, so I don't get involved. Although I gotta say, I've been developing a taste for the hand crossbow, and Gunnar was saying he'd let me shoot at some pirates next time we were out. Outside of that, I believe it's just where is it? Mr. Radler, who I believe is in the. I believe you're keeping in the brig right now, but he is also on payroll.
And
Will
is
we be
he?
closing out Mr. Radler's account, by the way?
Well, I mean, maybe you could help us with that. Is he someone worth keeping around, or
I mean,
likely to backstab?
Yeah, I gotta say, I am not a financial advisor. I am just a banker, so it's sort of against our policy for me to give out any advice about how you should manage your own staff. Now, if we talk like investments or things like that, I can sort of
Oh,
go through
God.
some of our packages.
Oh, yeah, we'll talk to him.
Chalice, talk to this guy. I can't. This is why Mom did all of this.
We'll talk with Mr. Radler, figure that out.
I don't want to make your head spin. We'll
We'll
talk in the
circle back.
morning. It'll be simple. It'll be easy. Okay. Sorry, I didn't catch everybody's names. Nice to meet you all. We'll chat in the morning. Okay. By the way, I highly recommend the curry. All right, give it a shot. I promise you, it'll put you in a mood. All right. All right, everybody. Good night. Any
Thanks,
kind of
Mr.
waves his hand
Admin.
and steps away.
Oh my god, we have inherited like some business thing. This is wow. This is a lot.
Unless they don't take the
I wanna
chip
kill
away
him.
from us, then we'll go with not throwing them overboard.
I mean, it sounds like we might be able to sign some legal documents to get some stuff actually in our name, which might be nice, so we avoid the whole
Why would
illegally
we
obtained shit parking tickets thing that we almost got thrown in jail for last time.
I'm curious. Did he will it directly to our names, or like he
I
knew
think
this was
just
gonna, or is
to
it just like whoever killed me
kills
gets
me.
the
Yeah,
stuff?
here's some gold.
Eyes, yeah.
Which kind of sounds very Durgar, you know?
Yeah,
Really
I can
does.
see that. They're very violent individuals.
Yeah. But let's talk business in the morning. I
Yep.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm like looking down at myself, it's just blood. I'm like,
Yeah.
no
Hey, this is
magic
probably
left.
the first time I actually didn't get hurt.
I don't remember about 10 seconds of that fight. It just all kind of went black, and then I was on my feet again.
Wait, did you go unconscious? I don't
I
remember.
did, yes.
Oh shit.
Gunner definitely seemed to be out after you, Cass.
Oh yeah, Gunnar really hated you, Cass. What was up with that?
I don't know. Just
Okay.
yeah, a puppet of his, you know. He's a bully. Was a bully, I suppose.
Um,
Definitely, I would say he definitely saw you as the biggest threat out of all of us.
yeah.
With that new cannon that you have, that
Oh, you mean
definitely be fitting.
fucking Christ? This thing? Yeah, it's pretty.
Oh,
Good
don't,
choice.
I think you're not supposed to put your finger on the
Careful.
trigger. I don't know much about.
Ah,
That's not good trigger safety.
Does it just how sensitive is this trigger? I do a little desk pop.
Oh no! Why should
Yeah.
All right.
A little celebration.
Yeah, you point
Oh.
up and fire. There's like almost a bit of a delay because it takes a lot to pull this trigger. To the point where you almost have to you get the sense that if you almost feel like that's why you were missing so much, because the first time you fired it, your shot would go off like half a second after you intended it to, and what you realize is you almost need to pull the trigger to like a stop point before you're ready to actually pull the trigger, if that makes sense. So it is like a very heavy trigger. So you like hold it up, nothing happens.
That's
and
why
then you,
it wasn't working.
yeah, and it goes off.
It's a lot more
Okay,
fun
well,
when you
oh,
don't have
wow.
to like actually aim at someone. I have terrible gun manners right now. I'm
As
just
you're
like,
Yeah,
weaving
you
it
like
around the dive off the table,
I know.
oh shit.
the funny thing is like no
fine.
one. Again, because of the way that guns typically work, where it's like you fire it and then you like put it away because it'll take like a year to load it again. You see Chalice, you just like point it right at her face, and she just like doesn't. Like,
Doesn't
it's
process.
dangerous.
all right,
Let's
okay.
go downstairs and eat and maybe talk a little bit. Just, I don't know about you guys, decompress.
Yeah, I'm working on putting a protection spell in the ship, just piece by piece. It's gonna take quite a while to do it, but
Protection.
I'll see what I can do.
Like people can't spy on us.
Oh, I can do that. Not right now. No, I think, Alara, what's your protection spell? Something about
Hallow.
radiant, or yeah.
It's it takes from what it looks like about 24 hours for it to be completed, but I can do it piece by piece, and then once it's done, the ship is as safe as it could ever be.
How big is the ship? Like, how many feet are we talking?
It's like probably 150 feet from end to end of like walkable ship area.
Okay. I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, I'm like still holding the menu. I'm gonna go eat some food if that's okay with you guys.
Samugi is holding a cup of tea and goes, I'll join you.
Okay. Sundar and Samugi, we're out of food.
Okay. Cassius, Alara, are you guys joining for dinner?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. As you head back downstairs, you are approached by a very slickly dressed, what looks like someone wearing kind of like a black suit, black tie, kind of slick back, black hair. And he just says, hello, my name is Jean-Paul. Go ahead and be seated where you may, and when we're ready to order, let me know, and I will bring out your food.
This is a lot of people on this ship.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. You know, it's kind of. It feels nice to have employees again, though.
Yeah.
Again? What? You had employees before?
Yes.
You got to me like that.
I mean, I kind of figured you would just assume I did.
You don't talk about your life very much, Cass. You just
I
said
try
you
not to.
were rich. I don't know what rich people have. I didn't know rich people have employees.
Right. Sorry.
Anyway, I'm just. Well, that means that you can kind of handle all of this, right?
I can, yeah. I don't really like to, but yeah, I can. But you have to talk to the chef, though. I mean,
I have to talk to the. Why do I have to talk to the chef?
or I guess we can talk to Jean-Paul.
About?
What we're ordering and everything.
Oh.
Like,
Oh, I already know what I'm ordering. If they do
You guys
breakfast for
order
dinner,
for
I'm
me.
getting
I'm
breakfast.
scared to go back into the kitchen.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think
Into the
John Paul
kitchen?
will take.
He threw a pot at me. So you guys
Oh, and
ordered for me. I
actually
don't
gotta
know
look
what's.
at his goddamn
I
menu.
don't know what's okay.
What do I want?
Yeah, we
I
gotta
don't know
look
if
at
he
the
didn't
menu.
like the lobster or didn't like the mashed potatoes, but
I think it was both.
Is this place set up like a restaurant or like a dining hall?
It's sort of set up like a dining hall. There's actually some like electrically or like magically powered lights and a little bit of ambiance. you watch as one of the prisoners kind of like rushes out with like a little loot, takes off his chef hat and kind of like tucks it in the back of his pants, and like sits down in this corner, and kind of begins like gently like plucking like a very kind of calm and like ambient little tune.
Do you think that maybe we should let some of these people go? I don't know. It just seems not like slavery quite, but I can't tell if they are hired or what.
I mean, I'm sure it was kind of probably under force with Gunner, but I mean, now we can just pay them fairly, right? They get to travel, see the world, cook food for people.
Yeah, okay. Maybe like in a day or two, we like get everybody together and have like a little meeting. Hey, if you want to
Yeah.
leave, you don't have to stay on the ship.
Yeah,
Okay,
we
just
can restock in a city.
yeah.
of-
I don't want to be, you know, bad people.
No, we only kill people that are worth killing, and steal
Yes.
only when necessary.
Kill for good.
Yes. For good. Okay. Okay. We're good people. Yeah. Speaking of that, Chalice, how did you end up in prison? Cass says you're not a degenerate like the rest of us, but alas.
Only when I want to be. No, I once Cass went missing, I was doing my own digging on Oswald Beaumont and his empire. Kind of came across a larger conspiracy involving the Queen of Brightwater and how she was using Oswald to sort of infiltrate neutral and rival government systems and gain a foothold in their larger economic and military structure through the use of his connections with the Savage Seven, most notably Solinor and his army of Clockwork Sentinels, to sort of destabilize governments to ultimately further the dominion of the Queen. And as doing that, I tried infiltrating Beaumont's home. I triggered a trap and was caught by the Duke, and kept prisoner there for some number of months. His daughter somehow took over because I stopped seeing the Duke altogether. And then basically didn't talk with anyone or see anyone. The interrogation stopped for about a month, and then ultimately, I guess she just shipped me off to this prison. And it appears she had some kind of questions because Gunner specifically was interrogating me about what I'd uncovered on my investigations. And yeah, that's brings us to about now.
I look at Cass.
So I can only assume that Gunner was working for the Duke. Or at least the Duke figured he wasn't getting where he needed to go, so he kind of sent me off to be disappeared out in the reformatory here.
Cass is just staring at the table, not saying anything.
Speaking of which, how's everything back home? How are mom and dad?
They're lovely. They're doing just fine in New Callum. Seems like they've adjusted.
They left the college?
Exactly. Oh, you don't know that much at all. Yes. They left looking for me, I think, maybe.
Yeah, that sounds
Um,
about right.
and then I guess you left as well sometime, and uh, they're doing fine.
All right, good. Well, at the end of it, hey, matching tattoos.
Right,
That's what I'm talking about.
you're
Alright.
probably fine to keep it uncovered most of the time. We've learned.
Oh, I like it. I think it's kind of, there's a lot of street cred with something like this.
I agree.
So, yeah, anyways, she looks over at you, Sundar. What's your story?
Um,
Before you can answer, Jean Paul comes over and have we all had sufficient time to propose the menu?
can we order breakfast mint stuff at this
No.
time of day? Oh, my, that's devastating. Okay. Um, let's circle around. By the time you guys order, I'll know what I want.
Let's start with the gentleman.
Okay. I assume Brightwater's kind of near the coast, so I imagine they're like I was gonna say natural cuisine is like sort of seafood esque.
There's there are a lot of seafood.
Right. So I'm gonna get I'll take the consecrated crab cakes.
Excellent choice. Excellent choice.
Thank you.
All right. And for you, looking to you, Samugi.
Spicy is the curry.
It is it should not be too spicy. It was made to be palatable by those who are not as accustomed to it. But if you like, I can put in a word with the chef and have them kick it up a notch.
That sounds delightful. I think
Very
I'll do
good.
that.
Extra spicy. Fireball curry. All right, very good. And you looking at you, Alara.
I'll just have a Sue Aaron.
Okay, extra spicy as well.
Yes, please. And I like head down the whole time.
Yeah. Okay, that's 2 dragon fire curries, extra spicy, and
I mean,
you miss.
Alara, are you sure you don't want the
No,
crab cakes? It's kind of
no.
like sounds similar to the other thing that will not be named.
I look up at him as, do you have crab cakes?
He is giving you a look right now of just like you've ordered, like just be fucking done.
Yep.
I will take the forest feast platter.
Very good. Okay. And courtesy of the chef, he has instructed me to bring a fine Shiraz to the table as well. So that should be coming up shortly.
What is a Shiraz?
Wine.
It's a wine.
Oh, of course. Yes. I knew that.
So he
Of course I
leaves
knew that.
and comes back and pours like this very nice wine. It's not like Faraday level of nice by any means, but it's good. And after a short amount of time, Jean Paul comes back with your meal, and this is probably the best most of you have eaten in a very, 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 very long time. For some of you, ever. Cass, this would be equivalent of like a fine night out. At like this has promise as like a business venture if you were looking to invest in this.
Before we eat, Cass like shakes himself and his clothes slowly turn into like a very fancy fine dining get up. Way over the top, like he is at a some sort of organized event like Faraday's.
Is there a room I can slip off to real quick?
Yeah.
I'll slip off and I'm gonna go change into that dress from the party.
Oh shit.
We're
Okay.
going fancy, like fuck it.
Oh yeah.
All right, Lara comes back looking super fancy.
Wow.
Oh.
Alara.
Go
I
ahead,
did not
Sam.
think
Yeah,
I would ever
I-
see you in that dress again.
Yeah, I kept it. I kind of liked it.
Well, nobody else feel obligated. I was just getting comfortable.
I figure it's a nice occasion. It's kind of celebrating, surviving that.
Should we
So,
toast to not being dead. Somebody wanna? I don't know.
Reclaiming the ship
Yeah,
and not being dead.
To the ship.
and Chalice saved
And
family.
Chalice. Sorry, Chalice.
Family and ships.
Yes.
Not dying.
Family and vengeance. It's unfortunate that Faraday saw us. We
Yeah.
are going to have to work out that deal at some point. And where's Vitali?
Vitalia is nowhere to be seen right now.
I understand that Vitali has a lot of info that we need, and that he really doesn't want Faraday to have these things. And maybe he shouldn't have them, but he is certainly a big obstacle to put in front of us.
I was thinking,
I,
at least to give ourselves some time, we could just tell Faraday that we need this particular piece to do some stuff. To like give ourselves some time to figure out what to do. I mean, for
might-
instance, oh, go ahead, Alara.
oh, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. I might have a track on another one of the items. I have to get in touch with somebody, but yeah. Just putting it out there if we're looking to get another one of them.
I mean, it's not a bad idea if it's another one that he needs eventually. If he doesn't know we have it, then we can still kind of work against him. And we're
Yeah.
sure we want to be working against him, right?
Hmm.
I mean, if I had to choose, I would pick Solanor over Faraday. But I would prefer to kind of be the hold my own cards for some time, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it seems like both of them might want to get their hands on this.
Well, how many of them do we know that he has already?
No idea.
Or-
I think
Solinar doesn't
3.
think that he has that many, but I don't know what that means.
Well, my thinking on it is if there's 2 or 3 of them left, we have a chance of not going to the direct one that he's going after and running into him again and having to have a bad day.
And the way Autoluke talks about it, I think just keeping a piece that he needs is enough to impede his plans. I don't think we would necessarily need to go gallivanting collecting everything immediately, as
No.
long as we don't let him get this one.
No, I think we do just need one, and ideally for him to not know we have it.
Mm-hmm.
And just to be clear, Alex, my contact is the lady that my brother told me to get in touch with or something. I don't have my notes out here.
Yep, you recall him speaking of Mira the Death Cleric,
That's what it was. Okay.
who you would recall was one of the Savage Seven.
So we have 2 leads. Langston or Mira.
I'll say at this point, you would notice Varric kind of walking towards your group as you're having this conversation. And he just goes, "What was that name you just said?"
Mira?
Mira?
I'm just getting in. And he kind of like sits down. Sundara, the platter that you got is pretty large, and it looks like you've been working on it for a while, and it looks like you're probably not going to finish a lot of it. And Vera kind of sits down next to you and just starts kind of picking it, like, "Oh, what you got going on here?"
I
Yeah,
slide it
so-
over.
Well, I'm just getting in. I don't know how that name came up, but The fella in the brig, when he was rambling, mentioned something about it.
About Mira.
Yeah.
Was she working with Gunner?
I don't know. He said something about the godling made me see that I would be your prisoner.
Is he insane?
I mean, aren't we all, mate?
He's in the brig right now.
Yeah.
Should we just go talk to him?
Sure. You want me to break a couple bones?
Okay, maybe we can talk. Okay, well,
Well,
Let's not lead with that.
Okay. Let me know.
probably. Yeah.
Okay. Just let me know when you need me.
But he can wait though. We can finish
yeah,
eating
let's
and then
we have a nice dinner. Alara dressed up.
Yeah.
put him off. I'll Varric. Oh gosh, I'll clean him up a little bit with prestidigitation.
Yeah, he's
I
like,
imagine he's like the most bloodied out of everyone.
yeah. I mean, he's got like a knife in his shoulder still.
Jesus. All right, let's go over
I'll
to
pull
him.
it out.
Yeah,
can't
I have a
deal with
little
that.
here, not much, but
It's like a spurt of blood across the table.
right.
You watch as Jean Philippe comes over specifically, and you have all these like nice white, like cloth napkins, and he just like without saying a word, just like takes your nice napkin and replaces it with a red one for each of you.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, for Jean Philippe Paul, maybe this is good practice for customers out there, but for us, we can tone down the formality. I mean, I get we're gonna pay you eventually, but like, we're all friends here. We're not like Gunner. We can.
I want to be clear. I am paid by Chef Remney,
Right, but who pays him?
and I do not need practice, as I have been doing this for, say, probably since longer than you have been alive. So, we do one thing here, and we do it very well. Now, will there be anything else?
Can I get more of this fancy drink?
Very well. He leaves, and you hear him just kind of like muttering something under his breath as he.
Well, I mean, the
Oh, I
consistency.
think you made him mad, Kaz.
I was just trying to say, like, come on.
No, I
like, we
get it.
can calm down for, like, it's not a performance anymore.
I would have said the same. I get it. Yeah. No, it's but maybe because you're rich, you should like I don't know, like just vibe. Do the thing. Go with the flow.
You know what? Sometimes I don't want to
Technically,
play the
we
game,
all rich.
but
Rich people problems.
Hmm.
no, this is why I don't bring it up. This is why I haven't mentioned it. Okay, now I am a
Curious.
down in the dirt. I'm like you people, and
What do you
we're
mean by
fine.
you people in the
Well,
dirt?
the
I'll have you know that our island is beautiful, okay? It might not be a castle.
but you have to like
I live
you
on an
have to
island.
work. Well, okay, yes, you're exotic. Like what? 2,000 people live up there? Like
Yeah. We should
can't this guy
visit.
Oh, the
can-
ship does
we
fly,
can
doesn't it?
visit.
Can you do more communing with it and see what maybe you can work out? Because you made the plates reattach to the ship, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Take them
And
bitches off.
But how does that
yeah.
work? Like, if we just take those off, do they just like
Oh.
float around with us, like in the
Well,
air, or they just like?
I think I remember somebody said, or we read, I don't remember, that we can also put magic into the ship to try and make it fly. So maybe if we like, I could like put some spells in it. Maybe I don't know. I'll commune with it. We've got time to get to New Callum.
Okay.
But I mean, we visit your parents' cast, then we go visit my parents. I'm just saying that sounds like a great time.
I think now is the time to sort of settle back a little bit, reconnect with our roots before we go off and potentially kill another member of the Savage Seven.
Yep. And which is it gonna be? Who knows? I
Question.
look around shiftily, like, oh god.
Would it be okay for me to tell my brother that we killed Gunner? He works for the FETC right now.
I would say, as the DM, I cannot tell you that.
No, I'm asking the group.
Oh.
Would you guys think that would be a smart idea or no?
You know, I feel like
Can I keep it?
I think it's
On
more a
the-
question of how much do you trust your brother?
yeah.
More than anybody in the world, but he does work for the FETC, which I understand how he fell into that, but I hate them. He wants me to come back working for him as well. And I really just don't feel comfortable with that.
What's their connection to Gunner? they
I
have
don't know, but I'm thinking all these magical items floating around and the
Mm.
FETC finding out another guns off the map. That's 2 now, right?
Well,
I don't know.
they might
do
not
with that,
find
but-
out.
Yeah.
I say if you want to tell your brother about it and you need to inform him, then let him know. If he betrays you,
Okay.
then
That's yeah.
I don't think he'd betray me, but I might keep it quiet. I just want to let him know I'm okay. I'll just tell him we got in some shit with some big bad evil guy, and now he's not a problem anymore.
tell him he finally went to prison. He'll be so proud.
Right.
That's what
I
you
put myself in prison.
You can twist your words.
Okay. So, as you all finish sharing a meal, discussing future plans, is there anything specifically that anyone would like to do before you take a long rest?
Wait, Alara, you have a brother?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that at all? Tell us your story.
I guess there's not really any harm in it. I was actually taken away from my home originally, me and my brother. It's kind of like adoptive brother. This rich noble named Mortimer Fitzroy adopted us. And I didn't know what his plans were really. It was, I guess, a nice life. He dolled us up, taught me a bunch of manners, all this other shit. I really didn't take to it. It's not really my style. Like nice clothes, obviously, stuff like that. And one night I heard that he was going to sacrifice me or something. Like I was a fucking thing to just be thrown away, and my brother helped me plot my escape, and I was found by the Raven Queen. She led me to the apothecary I was working at. And that's pretty much all there is to it.
Is your father still up there?
Yeah, he was at the party that night, I think.
At
He was at
Faraday party?
Faraday's.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Being that my brother is his bodyguard, he was being trained as a bodyguard. I don't know if they were training me for anything, but other than to be sacrificed or whatever the hell their plan was. Yeah, wherever he goes, my brother goes. So I'm guessing he had to have been there somewhere.
Does your father serve a god? Is that why he was going to sacrifice you?
What's that?
Does your father serve like a god that he was going to sacrifice you to?
Not that I remember. But I don't know what ritual was he was into. Alex, did I figure out what I didn't have
You
any
had no
idea
idea.
on?
You had no idea.
Yeah.
There was Give me a history check right now with some of the things that were said at the table.
Okay.
Some weird cult.
History, so 8, I think, plus 0, so flat 8.
Yeah, you don't recall.
Oh, 12 total, sorry.
Oh, 12?
Yeah.
You never found out exactly what he was trying to do. It was pretty clear that it seemed like your brother was always being trained for a thing, while you were always more kind of like, I don't know how else to say it, but it was pretty clear that you weren't being trained as far as like having a specific purpose. You were
Yeah.
kind of taught manners and things like that, but it was like your brother was always the one that clearly had a trade in mind, and
Yeah. And I was being
there
told
was nothing,
for
nothing,
some reason.
nothing, and then there was some kind of ritual that failed,
Oh,
and you never learned what it was. But before that, your father was never a religious person, as far as you knew. Um, with that check, I'll say there's something about this talk of this death cleric that is
yeah.
weirdly bringing you some deja vu. Like even from before you first heard the name.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay. Yeah, I would relay that to him. Yeah, it just really freaked me out, and I needed a way out. I never had the abilities I do today. I was just a normal Shidarkai, just taken away from her home and dolled up like some fucking princess. And after seeing and hearing that, I devised a plan to fake my own death.
Oh.
Yeah, it was kind of gruesome how I did so. One of the servants died, and I
Shove my foot away.
may have cut him open and hidden inside of his carcass
Wow.
because they threw the dead bodies off the cliff, and I knew that was a way out. Yeah,
That's a big man.
yeah. Well, like you could see how skinny Alara is. I could
Yeah.
probably squeeze into a very small space. So it was the only thing I had. I didn't know what else to do, and brother was okay with it because he seemed like I was in trouble too, and so yeah.
So, Alara. Alara
Yeah.
is dead.
Yes. Oh, I don't know if I think he said he might suspect me of being alive, but I'm not sure. I just hoped he would think I was dead, that I ran away somewhere. Maybe I actually fell off a cliff or something and just would forget about me.
Probably
Ooh.
could have disguised you at the party more, but
Yeah, I didn't. I had never thought in a million years he'd have been there. I wasn't really hiding anymore. I just kind of figured he's doing his own rich people thing.
Okay. Wow, that is.
Oh, yeah, sorry,
Did
Vince.
not expect that.
no, it's
Yeah.
fine. I got pretty much all the way through my food.
Sorry. Yeah, I forgot. Should have thought of that. I'm sorry. Tried to spare the details, but
Well,
yeah.
you did a lot to get here, Alara, so it's good to have you here.
I'm glad to be here with you guys.
Yeah, we would have been dead like 7 times over if you hadn't been here.
Easily.
I feel like you'd be okay, and you'd have to save my ass so many times too. But yeah, the
No.
feeling's mutual. I do what I can. Been given a power I still don't even know what to use it for most of the time. Which is why I give all my loyalty to the Raven Queen herself. She was the one who called me and led me to that apothecary. Don't know why, but take what you can get, right?
Yeah. Mysterious forces leading you to mysterious places.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of family, I look over at Smoogie. It's
You
your
weren't.
story.
Okay,
You're
yeah.
not, you're.
Yes. My family has been dead for centuries. I was living in solitude for quite some time. Um, aside from those that I knew in my monk, what are monk groups called?
Monastery?
Temple.
I
Uh,
don't know.
temple? There's a.
Other than that, I don't have family.
Well, you had them at one point, and I'm sure they were great. It must be nice. So you get out, into the world.
Cat.
Feels like a lifetime ago, and it was.
Not a gnome's
Samugi's like
lifetime.
Samugi's like 150-ish years old. How old is Samugi?
Young.
Yeah, in that ballpark, yeah.
How old is Luke? Do we know?
You have, I think he has claimed at one time to be 500 years old.
He said that. Yeah.
Mhm.
He said hundreds of years. Not to be improper, Samugi, how long do gnomes live for? Like, are you like about to die in a couple of days, or you got like another century and a half, 3 centuries left?
Gnomes live like 350 to 500 years.
Okay. So I'm like middle aged.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. So yeah, middle aged. I'm a spry 150.
I go to fist bump. Samugi, spry 150-year-olds. That's us.
Very badass.
How does it feel? I've always kind of wondered. Like, we're going to die, and then you two are just kind of still going to be going on. And then, like, there's gonna be like other people like us, and then you're gonna be. I mean, like, you lived to like 900 or something, Sundara, right? Like, that is. Oh wait, you. Complicated.
Yeah, complicated. Honestly, I never thought about that until I left Valindri because everybody in Valindri lives for so long. So it's like, if you grow up in a human village and everyone dies at 80, then it's not weird if everyone lives to whatever excessively long age we live towards.
I would say, and forgive me for kind of jumping in with some character stuff on your behalf, Jasmine, but Sundara might trail off a little bit and look into space as for now that you think about it, you would have seen other Valendri elves that are not your mother, like over a long period of time, like they have aged. Um, and your mother specifically has not at all. Like she looks like she's in her like late 20s, and that you never really asked, but she may be well over 1,000.
Go. What?
Are pushing meatballs around my plate. I can't grapple with my mortality and or immortality yet. I might be alone forever or not. I don't understand this.
I'm sorry. I just always wanted to know, and you two seemed like who else am I gonna ask?
Yeah, no, that's good. I want to.
I didn't real. Oh God.
Sandara starts crying.
Vera keeps eating.
I'd like hand you a napkin, like stop crying. It's okay. It's okay. We're all here.
Awkwardly drag the food back to myself.
What if the only people that I spend the rest of my life with is my mom and Solinor? That's gonna be weird.
I could see how it'd be hard to make attachments to people that come close to living, not even coming close to living as long as you do for, but you know, we're here. I'm glad I met all of you guys. You guys are pretty much my family now. I didn't mean to keep secrets from you guys for so long, but a hard trust to come by, even though we've been through a lot.
I mean, faking your
Especially
death
now we,
is. You gotta make sure.
yeah, didn't know. I saw you guys seem to be being chased by other people, rich individuals, Oni, powerful mages, and I didn't know who was on whose side, so I think we're all pretty much in the same boat, literally.
At, at this point, Chalice speaks up as well, and she goes, "Well, look, Sandara, I don't really know you, but I can just speak to my own experience in that I'd say as an orphan and as a half elf, I've often felt like I've never really belonged to either like human groups or elven groups. But as I've kind of developed in my own way, I think the thing that I've learned to appreciate about humans and other races that don't live quite as long is that I feel like they're really good at living in the moment. Where I find a lot of elven culture seems to take time for granted because they seemingly have so much of it. But unexpected things happen still, and people that live a long time can still die suddenly. And if you've spent 100 years of your life just learning how to perfectly move your hands so that you can cast this one spell in the way that you think it should be cast, so that everyone can look at you and say, wow, look at how elven you are. I know that for me personally, that's just not how I want to live my life. So I know that I will probably outlive a lot of my friends and some of my family, but I don't really think about it because I'm too busy enjoying the moment.
Wow, that's really beautiful. Thanks. I look at
Yeah.
Alara and Cass, like, and Varric. I'll come visit you guys when you're old and we're not adventuring anymore, okay?
Yeah. You want to hear something funny? My leg's gonna outlive me, and I like lift my metal leg.
So, shall we call it a night?
Yeah, I put some runic symbols up and work on a couple things real fast, and then I hit the hay.
At that point, Chalice goes, yeah, I guess I can put this. And she sets this bottle of green bottle reserve on the table. And she's like, I guess I can just put this away for another time.
Oh no, not that again.
For that again.
But wait, on second hand.
No, wait a minute, booze.
Wait.
I'm getting
The
food.
expensive
Sorry.
stuff.
Sorry. My sushi has arrived. I mean,
Everyone's
we're not
sushi
going to.
today.
Sure, we can celebrate with wine, a Shiraz, probably house welled wine. Like, but green bottle reserve, we're gonna turn that down?
I'm
mean,
kind
it
of
would
with
be a shame.
Cass. I'm kind of.
Last time, didn't you guys all trip
mean,
balls, and then Derek ended up by the fucking water?
You watch as Chalice like looks at it and she's like, if my Elvish is a little rusty, or sorry, my Halfling is a little rusty, but I think this expires.
Jean Philippe, bring us some glasses.
He
Yeah, so
looks
would be
over
nice.
and he goes, it's Jean Paul.
I'm sorry.
Jean Philippe is a whole nother guy.
There's a lot of new names. I'm so sorry. I will work on it.
Is there a Jean Philippe that works on this ship?
No. And there never will be. And he turns and leaves. He brings back some glasses. Who's partaking?
Yeah, stuff's expensive.
I
Samugi
don't
looks
like
at his tea and he goes,
I didn't.
This-
Last time I didn't.
I'm getting a
And
taste for
I
you
don't think
guys
I did
still
drinks.
yeah,
Alara.
Samugi goes, this sleepy time tea is kind of starting to hit, but I think I'll have one. Just one.
Okay, just one.
As long
I'll
as you
take
don't do too
one.
much, the uppers and it works out.
Okay.
All right, just one then.
All right. With that, I need anyone who wishes to attempt to not be enchanted by this to roll a wisdom saving throw, unless you choose to just give into it.
Let's go.
No. First bottle,
Um,
first glass goes down in like a couple
Oh my
gulps.
god. I have a +9 to my wisdom save. I rolled a natural one.
Okay,
Good
perfect.
for you.
This is
That's
why I
good.
don't drink.
The dice are
No,
telling
that's
the
good.
story now.
You're supposed to do that.
Right. That's
Samugi rolled a 23.
so. So Smoogie, the question is: are you trying to sort of like this? This drink is kind of pulling your like mental into a certain place. Are you trying to resist it?
Is it like a known like hallucinogen or just like alcohol basically?
This is a magical effect. You get the sense it's not going to be inherently harmful, but it might be a thing that, like, if you're uncomfortable, might push your boundaries a little bit. So it's like, do you want to be in control, or do you, ride the lightning? There's no right or wrong answer. It's just
I know.
which are you
Samugi
doing?
will live a little.
Okay, so you're gonna kind of let it
No,
take you where it may.
I'm gonna let it do its thing.
Okay, okay.
I like that it
So
was his choice though. He could like resist it, and he's like, well.
yeah. So as you're all sharing this drink, you it's very disorienting as there's just kind of like a blur and almost like a montage of you guys kind of merrifully moving throughout the ship, and you find that you end up on basically like the crow's nest all together, and you're all almost in like a star shape, kind of like laying down on that like um, catwalk at the top of the ship, just looking up at the stars.
Cute.
And it's such a weird and dreamlike sensation where you swear you can look at someone else and feel exactly what they're feeling, think exactly what they're thinking, and like experience their memories. It's almost equivalent to tincture or spark, but it's just a little blunted, but a lot more smooth and longer lasting. As this is happening, is anyone focusing in on a particular someone?
I am on the Raven Queen. Like I was in awe when I got to finally go to the Shadowfell, right? And that temple. I was awestruck in that whole moment of like when Barrick and I were there.
Okay. I would say as you're thinking of that, some of your memory is made manifest as you look up, and almost in the distant clouds you see this faint blurring of dimensions where you can see the cold white marble just kind of stoically standing in the distance, and anyone else who looks in that direction can also vaguely see the memory that Alara is manifesting here.
So we can like kind of feel each other's emotions.
Very much so, yeah.
Okay.
And right now it's kind of like a general just like soup of like a mix of like euphoria and this kind of like big breath of air and like relaxation, as you guys have kind of been like running ragged for months. And this is kind of like the first time you've had a chance to just like take a deep breath and let loose and kind of feel this weight of and like stress kind of off your shoulders. But if you kind of focus in on someone in particular, you kind of begin to become flooded by some of their memories and their feelings specifically.
Okay. I mean, I think Cass would have chosen Alara, so. Well, I mean. I think he would have tried to distract himself from what he's really thinking about by thinking about Alara.
Okay. Make a unskilled or half skilled wisdom check.
What does half skilled mean?
You're a jack of all trades.
Oh, okay. Two,
The DC is 13.
unnatural 20.
Okay. So you focus in on Alara, and you are also you find yourself kind of brought to the glory of the Raven Queen's temple, her palace. And as you're laying here with your head kind of like on the catwalk looking up at the stars, you can feel yourself like walking through this portion of the Shadowfell, along the white marble. You see Varric's dead body there as well. You feel yourself like holding him as there's kind of this like blur between dimensions. You see his son Atlas.
How clearly can I make out his face?
Pretty clearly.
Okay.
And you can feel the desperation of Alara in trying to bring him back against the pull of this otherworldly pact.
Okay.
And then in a moment, just like that, it's kind of all gone, and you stand kind of in the aftermath of just like this silent, beautiful white temple looking up at a huge masked feminine visage of the Raven Queen in like an ivory like marble effigy.
Oh, it's just an effigy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hello, Your Grace.
It is one of those things where as you look at it, you're like, holy shit, like this is a god.
Yeah.
And then you realize it like is a statue, but it's one of those things where it's like, are the eyes of the painting actually watching me? And it's a little like it makes your hair stand up on its edge. Like you feel like something is watching you right now. But you successfully distract yourself. Anyone else?
Sundar is going to start by thinking about Solinor. And at first, she's like thinking about how they gradually went from like mentor to like more domestic, hanging out, way more like romantic. And then she's going to start thinking about Chalice after that and how she's like been winking at her and making her feel like more comfortable than Solinor really did. And I want to look at Chalice and try and get a vibe of what's going on in her head.
Okay. Give me an unskilled wisdom check.
So, not good. Oh, 19.
19.
Oh, 18, sorry.
You notice that Chalice is sort of, you can kind of see where her mind is right now. and it's just sort of processing everything that has happened over the last few months, where she's essentially been a prisoner for months. Um, like almost since you were imprisoned the first time, and the whole time you've been out, she's basically been in prison the whole time, in one way or another. Um, and you see a glimpse of some of the darkness that she went through. Um, you can see like a little bit of like, her being interrogated by both the Duke, Beaumont, and then Gunner on the ship, and then kind of like quickly learning to survive, um, kind of always being like on the brink of like survival and death for months every day. Um, Yet there is this lightness to her outlook and this overall hopefulness of possibility. And I'd say, especially coming from a Valendry society, what she said earlier kind of rings really true, because more than anyone you've ever met before, this is someone that just loves life and seeks to get the most out of every second. So despite all that darkness, it's you kind of have to dig deep for that, because it's really just this brimming excitement about the future and possibility.
She close enough where I can grab her hand.
Mm-hmm.
I do that.
Okay. You grab her hand, and she kind of looks at you, gives you a playful look, and then kind of looks back up at the stars. And again, that like excitement and hopefulness and possibility, I think at this point would become pretty infectious to you as well, because despite all the scary things that your group is also facing, um, I'd say this is a moment where you realize there's also things to look forward to. And the two of you kind of just bask in that for a while. Um, as you all look up in the distance, you would also see flying through the air, like slowly, Autoluke, as it looks like he got his hands on the remainder of the green bottle. He's just sort of like reaching out and just doing like almost like Tai Chi with illusions and like moving stars. Uh, and you just hear like a like a little bit of laughter up there.
Is that Santa Claus?
All right.
Does the person that we're focusing on, it doesn't necessarily like to feel their emotion or to feel connected. It has to be someone like present near us.
That's you get the sense that it's like you're almost in this vague, like somewhat shared consciousness with the people in the vicinity who've also imbibed of the Green Bottle Reserve.
Cass thinking about.
Yeah.
So, and you can think about whatever you want, and that'll just kind of project your thoughts to the overall group a little bit. But if you want to try to focus in and get into the head of someone here, you could also do that.
Samugi's not gonna try to really look into anyone around him. He's more, I think since we've been adventuring and all the things that we've been partaking in recently, like, like killing a dragon and killing Gunner and all those normal things that people
Yeah.
do, has been kind of like distracting himself and has like allowed him to kind of compartmentalize his own
Yeah.
shit going on with the demons.
Yeah.
So, so is there like, um, I guess Samugi's just sort of thinking about what the Hongul gnome had kind of warned him, and he's been kind of in the back of his head, like had kind of like an image of like a faceless old man that he's
Yeah.
been like looking out for, and sort of like and again like been doing a good job of been just like distracting himself and not letting it come to the forefront of his mind, but in sort of like an it follows fashion. I think
Totally.
it like
Like,
sort of into the peripheries of his mind now.
yeah, I would say in this moment your defenses are probably have your walls have come down a little bit. So that thing that's always been on the periphery, I think it makes sense that now you wouldn't be able to help that it's more on the forefront. Um, and um, I'd say specifically, um, you see the face of the Oni from the Oasis, and you know that there's some kind of like cosmetically important lineage there. You don't know how it relates to the, you know, the demon god Vaprak, um, but there you have a specific adversary, um, and you know that something is going to happen with that, one way or another, because you can't run from this thing forever. Um, and I'd say, as that thought comes to mind, there's almost like this moment where you're just kind of like staring at the face of your adversary. And I would wonder, how does Samugi feel as this happens? Is he calm? Is he afraid?
I would say that like prior to this, his demeanor is, usually very just like at peace. Not at peace, but just like understanding of the situation that he's in. Like, yeah, demons are in and out of my life, and that's just how it is for me. But I think the knowing, like the forewarning that it was kind of coming after him, kind of made him paranoid for some reason. So Samugi's feeling like a little paranoid, maybe a little bit defensive. And if he feels like it's like an imminent sort of presence, I think he would go ahead and like just summon his astral arms. Not like attacking out at anything, but
Yeah.
as more like a defensive sort of like protective blanket.
Yeah.
Cool.
Um, I would say, as you do, you summon the arms and the visage. And in this moment, you feel your entire body almost lifted up off the catwalk.
Fuck off.
Uh, and you find that as you kind of hold out your astral arms, you can sort of like wipe the face of this Oni away, as the image of it was kind of created by the stars. Um, and you feel this general like oneness with just the energy around you. Like you feel like it's weird. It's like you feel like there's almost like a superimposition of like the material world that you see, and also like the interweaving of the astral plane. And as you summon your astral self, you feel like you are so deeply connected and in some ways in control over this world that is usually invisible to the eye.
All right, so Smoothie's just like off in the corner, like going through this thought process of just deep in thought, a little bit paranoid. All of a sudden, summoning his astral arms and visage, and then just doing like astral tai chi.
You and Luke, all the same wavelength.
It's just kind of the thing to do right now. I don't know. Just
You
feel
would actually notice after a brief while, Audaluk is actually going to land behind Samui and then just sort of start copying his movements, and he's getting like really into it. So with that, as your evening comes to a close, is there anything else you all wish to do?
I was gonna build some stuff, but
So
fucked
was
up.
I, but not right
Do
now.
what you have done. I know,
anymore.
yeah.
Yeah,
I was
we
gonna
got
do
all
some
fucked up, and
proper
it's like,
shit.
well,
That's
time to
morning.
sleep.
That's a problem for morning,
Yeah,
us.
that's probably going to end up being a morning thing. So I'm going to say,
Stumble to bed.
unless
some-
otherwise, you probably are all actually going to fall asleep in the open
Oh.
catwalk up here, unless anyone had any other plans. And awaken with the sun on your face, feeling very, very well rested.
I wake up snuggling Onyx. I don't even remember summoning him, but
Okay, do I wake up before Alara?
Sure.
Okay.
Like you got something.
I roll over and I see Alara snuggling with Onyx, and just something clicks in my head. Oh, I need that. I just like sleepily, still like blurry-eyed, reach my hand out to Onyx, and very carefully try to grab a feather, and then just plug it out.
Okay, give me a sleight of hand check.
Oh,
I'm not good at those. Okay. Come on. 19.
oh.
Okay. As you reach your hand out, you grab a feather and you pull, and there is no resistance. It doesn't even feel like the feather was connected to the bird. It's almost like you pulled a feather, and as you do, there's just this like very subtle like white flash of energy, and you have this perfect raven feather, and you watch as one grows exactly in the place that you left off, and you see this shadow watching over you, like watching you do this, like someone is standing over you, and you turn around, and there's no one there. You turn back, and the shadow's gone.
Okay, right. Not real bird. Raven Queen bird. Sorry. I tucked the feather away.
Okay.
And then get up super loudly. Alright, everybody, good night. Last night,
No,
we're
no.
disgusting. So, it's probably at least, wash.
You are going to take a point of bludgeoning damage as you are hit in the side of the head by a lute.
Alright. No wake up calls.
And with that, there's like a shifting of weight, and Sundar, you just feel like an arm around you as like someone sleepily just threw a lute at Cass.
Yeah, I'm snuggling back in, and I'm going right back to bed for a little bit.
Oh. Good.
Yes. No.
I'll leave you two do it. And I go and hurriedly get some food and just prep for the morning.
Okay. As you do, you see sitting there patiently waiting, a Mr. Carter Abbeyman, who's sitting there, like, checks his watch at the time. He's already got, like, a whole meal in front of him. And he goes, Mr. Manath, is it just you joining us today? I've got about 15 minutes left for this block.
Who
could
else
probably
are
sorry.
you serving?
Oh, sorry.
I I hate to inform you, I do have other clients. We do some work remote. It was Gunnar who insisted that I be paid to be on site for this. So, shall we get started? Would you please order something?
Okay, sure. God, I gotta fucking minimize this. This recording is gonna
Laura
be
would
fun.
probably wake up at this point.
Okay,
You
you'd wander
know,
The
around.
old thought in her mind, the early bird gets the worm, and fucking Onyx probably trying to wake me up.
Okay,
I can get some food quietly and just leave the rest of them to sleep.
okay.
Okay. Right. You know what? Just 6 orders of the oats. I already forgot the name of it. God damn it. Just unicorn oats. 6 of them will be good for the morning.
Okay.
If not, you can make. They can take their orders when they get here.
No, that sounds good. We'll get them started. I understand you all had a long day, so I won't take up too much of your time. Jean Paul, 6 of the unicorn oats.
Are people coming on the boat
No.
later?
I'm sorry. How do you mean?
Are you? I'm just wondering who the hell you're serving. Who's coming
Well,
later?
my understanding is that this was mainly for the purposes of the crew. However, the chef Remley had a plan to turn this into a fully functional, as he called it, restaurant by the sea.
All right, I'm obviously missing something. I'm sure you got the logistics worked out. Don't mind me. I slam a revolver on the table, and then slam a hand, vines into the pall of loot.
Yeah, he's like very unfazed by this. He just goes, "Great, I suppose I'll just get started, and you can fill in the rest of your group as they join us." So there were some pretty specific stipulations within the will and testament of Mr. Gunner. Um, as I alluded to, most relevant to you would be the Kingslayer clause, in which a pretty hefty endowment would come under the name of whoever killed him. Pretty common Duragar practice, as many of them tend to meet violent ends. It appears Gunnar actually had a specific stipulation in which he predicted it might be you, Mr. Manaf, who would deal a killing blow.
That was like actually legitimate. Okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
To be fair, he had about 20 specific letters, many to individuals of the church.
Was there like a ranking system to them, or?
There's no ranking system.
Oh, okay. All right, of course.
I imagine he paid each one equal weight and consideration. Now, it is my duty to read you this, just to check it off the list. Let's see. Cassius Manath, it's been some time knowing you. Although it may seem that I thought you had no spine, I stand corrected now, and in many ways am proud that you got to this position to end my life. As such, I bequeath here the deed to the ship, the ice pick. That's yours.
Useful.
Ownership of the relic, the Moon Warden's pelt, and or the gavel of the Moon Warden, depending on which is in my possession. I assume you already have the pelt.
We do.
Right, that's one thing we don't have to worry about. And he leaves. So interesting. No gold, but 38, approximately 38,000 gold pieces worth of antiques and gems, including but not limited to the illithid tadpole, 2,500 of embroidered silk, an enchanting altar, horn of blasting, platinum bracelets, 3 potions, Yep, all in order. Oh, and there is a clause that, as such, you must take ownership and become the proper caretaker of his horse, Lucky. And he hands you like this little obsidian figurine of
Oh,
like this horrifying looking horse that looks like it's got like flames coming off as like a mane.
oh, okay. I'm sure it'll be fine in the
Uh,
hole.
Further stipulates it you must walk Lucky at least one time a week.
It's a okay. Sure.
Yeah. Now, I don't think. Yeah, I know. I didn't help write this because there's no. He says it's a clause, but there's no clause because it's not an if then statement. He sort of gave you all this stuff and then asked that you do this and said that you have to. Just so you know, there's no magical or otherwise repercussions if you don't walk
Oh,
Lucky.
well, Lucky would go out of shape, so we have to make sure, you know, those abs are rock hard.
Sure. Between you and me, I don't think it's going to make a difference to Gunnar one way or another as he's dead, whether or not the horse is just in a hole for the rest of their existence. Um, and then, will you be present for the formal reading of the will?
When is that?
Well, it's stipulated to take place within the next 2 days, so either today or probably tomorrow. Pretty high profile guest list for that, and it will be taking place on the ship, as I don't think we'll make it to New Callum before then.
Well, it seems we don't have any choice to not be present then, does it?
I mean, you can send a representative. When I reached out to Faraday, he will not be coming. He will be sending a Mr. Conrad Grix in his place. Mira, the Death Cleric, which is, I guess, is her legal name, also will not be present. She will be sending a representative, a Mavet, as well. Let's see. There's a Xander of the Far Empire. Oh, his mother. That'll be nice, Miss Gunner. Um,
Great.
so yes, we will be hosting this event.
Sounds fun.
I'll be I'll be present.
Okay, very good. And as you're the host now, I hope you don't mind. I took some liberties along with Mr. Chef Remley. I was going to have just a couple sides, some refreshments for the guests for the will reading. I was thinking we probably want to keep this as short as possible.
That would be
So thinking sometime tomorrow we can just bang this out, get things done with. I will say he's leaving most of his estate to his mother, but you getting the ship is pretty big deal. Yeah, so that actually about covers it. So hey, that wasn't so bad, right? We're done.
great. No, it wasn't just a lot to think about.
I
But
understand.
I mean,
Yeah,
none of it's your fault. So sorry if I've been a little
I
rude.
no, and you know what? I thank you for appreciating that. I am unfortunately in a lot of these situations the bearer of bad news. Now, if I may, while I have your ear, if you'd be interested, it may be a lot more convenient to open up account with the Oran Bank. It's a lot more secure than keeping all your funds in a hole in the ground.
You know, I'm. Wait, how'd you know about the hole?
You mentioned it just a second ago. I assume we're talking about a portable hole.
Okay.
It's a pretty
Okay.
common tactic for mercenaries and
You
people
know,
who live on the road, but you're never too mobile for a bank.
okay. This is getting into some stupidly, weirdly specific, above the table questions. Do I have a bank account in Brightwater?
No,
No, you don't.
want to.
You do not have a bank.
Okay.
I would say banking is not a. It's not the most common thing,
Okay.
but basically, there are pros of it. Where it's kind of like a bag holding or portable hole, and especially when you're dealing with large quantities of gold, the benefit is the ability to produce bank notes that basically act as whatever amount of gold you want without holding the physical quantity. It's also like a highly what do you call it? Secure place to keep your funds versus like if someone steals a bag of holding and you're just kind of fucked. Um, and there's ways to have like almost instantaneous access to it as well. And these are some of the things that like briefly like the elevator pitch that he gives you. He
Yeah.
says, and finally, I will say now between you and me, I'm not supposed to do this, but I can just put you down as put Gunner down as a reference. And if I do that and say that you were referred to our bank by Gunner, I could set you up for 3 years of auto pay for free. And basically, what that means is anyone under your employ, um, all the accounts payable can be under our bank, where I just tell you, hey, this is how much you owe, versus having to deal with all the finance aspect of it yourself. And again, that's 3 years of that service free. Usually there's a 5% monthly surcharge. So I don't think I need to tell you about the savings in that. So
You
pretty
know,
fair deal.
I am more of a hole in the ground type of savings
Totally,
person, but
totally.
that sounds so convenient though, and it's
And
not
really,
that
Mr.
bad
Knapp,
overall. Like,
that's really what we aim to sell is convenience. Because I want you, out on the open seas, taking down pirates, slaying dragons. I really, my job is to take on that burden so you're not bogged down with paying your staff, sourcing materials for your chef for this business venture that you have. It's really to keep you doing what you do best.
I'm not sure I want anything kind of that official under my name, so I think I'll talk to the rest of my group and see if one of them's willing to do it. But
Now, I would say we in theory don't even need a name. We do need a name, but it can be fake. It can be whatever. I mean, Gunner literally has his name. He had it under just Gunner. Like that could be anyone, but these documents they're tied in a it uses a variety of Orin enchantments, so it's perfectly safe, and we have a guarantee where we are bound by this pact to not share your personal information with any interested parties. And of course, all of your items that are not, artifact level unique are insured through the Orin Bank. And I mean that goes
can
all
we
the way up to if
can
our
we
bank were to default, it would be under the kingdom of the Orin Empire as well. So
can we
sort of
put it
multiple.
as any name, right? It doesn't have to be
Sure, yeah.
even.
Now there will have to be a main stakeholder, so I'll need a drop of blood as to sort of seal the pact. And that can be again from anyone, but whoever that is will have sort of uh, administrative rights within whatever account they open, if that makes sense.
And you have this paperwork with you here right now.
I do, yeah.
All right, sure. Let's make it
You want to make it?
quick.
You want to do this? Yeah, let's do this. Here, I'll look at that. Even before the food's here, perfect. And you watch as he just like quickly like apparates a pretty simple boilerplate contract, puts it down. You kind of go through it. It's pretty simple. All it is just that they won't share any of your information. There typically are certain fees associated with this, but you're free of that for a while. And in fact, there's like a very nominal interest that's paid to you by putting any amount of money in the bank.
Right. Okay, I read it all over. Okay, so we can do this one. This is squaring away all of this gunner stuff and this group stuff. And would I be able to just, with a good word from you or Gunner, maybe open up my own like account?
Or if you wanted a separate account, absolutely, yeah. I mean,
Tied
I'll
to
tell you
this
what.
one even.
Between you and me, the administrators back in the Oran Empire, they don't know who Gunner is. They're not going to make the connection that he's already dead, especially for something as simple as a reference. I'm happy to use his name to reference anyone for a new account.
I begin signing away whatever life I need for
Okay.
I guess for the group and for my own account. But like if there's a like who this is under that I have to like name somewhere, I'm gonna put the Expeditionary Reclamation Force.
Okay. All right.
And that's the main group one. And then I'm just
Okay.
gonna open up my own account.
Gotcha. That sounds very corporate. You would do well back in Orifin. Perfect. That's all set up. And yeah, if you want to deposit anything or take out any notes against any assets, you just let me know. My contract is paid up through the year. Now, I get the sense that maybe you don't like too many people on the ship, so if you want me to, make my way, that's totally fine. But as I said, my services are paid out through the year.
I mean, listen, as long as we're done with the salesmanship kind of stuff, then you can stick around for all I care. You're paid for. There's good food here.
Yep. Now, I
Occasional
will
fights,
say
just so you know.
I may be required by the bank to make a pitch every now and then, but I promise you I will keep it short and sweet.
Of course.
And hey, maybe I'll get that chance to use that little hand crossbow after all. Hey, Mr. Manath. Great. It's been a pleasure doing business with you. All right, I'll leave it to you. And he kind of gets up, shakes your hand, and takes off.
I give him
So,
a little handshake on purpose.
Yep. Now, when you're on the ship, if you like, you could transfer any goods from your person or the portable hole or whatever to the bank, where you'll basically know that it's secure, and sort of offload it, and you'll have access to it on the ship.
All right, new inventory slot.
Yeah, I was gonna
The
say
bank.
another column on that inventory sheet. Great.
Okay.
I share. I info dump just as much as that guy did to the rest of the group when they make their way down. But like I do it poorly.
Yep. And I'll say also this will be considered one of the members of your crew, Carter Abbeyman. So in theory, he could also man certain portions of the ship in an emergency if it came down to it.
Okay.
And he does, as he said before, have a hand crossbow. Okay. Is there anything else? As you're all kind of slowly meeting for the morning, your morning oats are brought to almost every single one of you. Alara, something else is brought for you. You are brought this kind of green swirling, almost like acai bowl. This would be the Phoenix Smoothie Bowl. As you kind of find what it looks like in the menu, it reads, a rejuvenating blend of phoenix feathers, sparkberry, and tropical cimarine, topped with toasted phoenix ash nuts, golden honeycomb, and a drizzle of liquid sunlight. And then there's this little disclaimer that says, consuming cimarine that is improperly prepared can lead to nausea, weakened constitution, fatigue, and the sensation of being boiled alive that may persist until one's prompt death.
Okay. What does it smell like?
It smells gorgeous. I mean, there's like a citrusy kind of smell to it, but like a savory crispness to it as well.
I'll try it. Hopefully, I
Yeah,
don't puke
risk
everywhere.
taker.
Okay. You taste it. It's divine.
I'll just slowly kind of take my time eating it.
Yep.
Keep an eye on the door where the chef's thing
Yeah.
is, and
Oh
see if
no.
I can get any evil glares. Like,
Nothing
Oh,
so
Lars.
far. The
Lars
door
done
remains
for.
shut. Nothing happens to you that you notice. You feel
okay.
fine.
All right.
Thanks for doing that meeting, Cass. With what's his name?
Yeah, I didn't really even want to or mean to, but we just kind of kept on talking. I mean, listen, bottom line, I can just deposit whatever money I have into the account. That'll grow if you guys want to keep your money in the hole. You can do that. There's nothing.
So, not trying to, because I didn't get to prepare my spells, but this one kind of
Yeah, I'm
would
doing
crack
that
me up
right
to
now.
kind of fit. Can I get a purify food and drink?
Yeah.
Like subtly,
Oh yeah.
like without him noticing, like
You cast that.
yeah.
Okay. You cast the spell.
Okay.
I will say, how much of the dish have you had before you cast it?
Just a couple bites. I wasn't like mowing it or anything. I was really
Yeah.
taking my time.
Yeah,
And after the second bite, I'm
you
nervous.
cast the spell.
Yeah.
I mean, you feel fine, but as you taste it has completely removed the simmerine from the dish,
Okay.
um, and almost replaced it with just like this tasteless ash that's mixed in, and the dish is ruined.
Oh, okay.
It's
Oops.
like you can eat it, but it's just like you're like, damn, that simmerine like really tied everything together, and it was
Yeah.
sort of the kind of the highlight of the dish.
I don't want to be rude, so I'm just gonna take my dish and go up onto the deck and like, excuse myself, like so I can
Toss it.
pour it out and not get in trouble.
Yeah. All right. Make a perception check.
Oh shit.
Man, they really hated your
Uh,
lobster balls.
right. Let's see. Perception 19.
19. Okay. Uh, so as you pour out the dish, you kind of like turn the other way, and you see from like across the way, kind of on the crow's nest, you see like smoking what looks like a cigar. You see Borden Remley just kind of like looking at
Oh
you.
no.
He just like takes a long drag off of it, tosses the cigar overboard, like slides down the crow's nest, and then just walks back into the kitchen. Doesn't say anything.
You're just actually
Okay,
getting poisoned next time.
Laura,
We
eat
Yeah.
yourself for the rest of your life. Do not eat anything. Oh my
Oh,
god.
I'm in so much trouble already.
I would say watching this huge orc move like this,
Yeah.
you also get the sense like this guy. There's something like he moves like someone who like is a combatant.
Yeah,
And
is not
especially with how
like a
light of
chef.
foot he is for how large he is.
Like
Um,
faster than Barrick, kind of like more nimble than Barrick.
100%, like much more
Holy
so,
shit.
like more akin to
Yeah.
like Samugi Sundara, like
Mm.
Damn.
um, um, and I'd say the
Okay.
close actually a lot of the way he moves and carries himself reminds you a lot of Vitali, actually.
Okay.
Especially with like how, for despite his size, he's able to remain pretty unseen without even really trying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Um, so with that, um, you all are enjoying the last of your oats, or most of you are. At this point, Varric will join you all as well. and Vitali, Autoluke, the whole crew, everyone's having a meal. At one point, Varric kind of comes over to the table, puts his hands down on it, leans over, and just goes, "Any thoughts of dealing with the prisoner?"
I say we go talk to him now, figure out what he knows. Well, I'm gonna take a bath first, and then I'll talk to the prisoner. But
Bath first, then the prisoner. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Now, depending on how things go, would it make more sense to take a bath after dealing with the prisoner?
I'm not going to be breaking any bones, so anything
Sort
that
of
I do will be from
out
a
of the
distance.
out of
Yeah,
the splash zone, as it were.
yeah, and fire bolts and stuff like that. That I stay clean. So
Sure.
Guys,
yeah,
we can just. You don't need to break skin.
that's
Just take control of his mind. Make him tell you what you want.
wow. Okay, two very different. Yeah, I mean, mhm.
After we clean ourselves, though, right?
Yeah, we're disgusting. We were in prison. There's blood everywhere. There's like 3 bathrooms on the ship or
Casper just did
bathhouses.
that spell and it was all gone. Cleanest I've been
Yeah,
in months.
but like a hot bath, into hot water, it feels really good. Have you done it before?
Sure. Well, I don't fit.
Oh,
He kind of
what a,
like turns and goes back to his
what a
table.
real problem.
Okay, I'm gonna run and take a quick bath and like come back up.
Okay.
We all clean up and then go interrogate some poor guy.
Okay. All right. Um. So, who's going to the brig?
I would go with you.
Same.
I'm just preparing my spell list right now. Try not to.
Okay.
Samugi will be doing his own thing. He's gonna be building some things while you guys are doing.
Doing some tinkering.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Then we'll start with anyone who's going to the brig. As you go, you do see this kind of armored paladin. It's a halfling with blonde hair, kind of just like sitting with his back against the wall, just expectantly waiting as he hears you coming.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
You hungry?
Yeah, I could eat. I
I
happen
don't
to know that
really
there's a
want to walk
kitchen.
back.
What do you
Okay.
what do you want? I'll go back. I can go back real quick. What do you want from kitchen?
Kind of ruining the thing.
I think maybe just why don't you torture me first, and then I'll order.
Every Okay. Well, okay. Yeah, we'll talk and then you can get food.
Listen, we
Yeah,
just want to know about Mira. We haven't decided to kill you or let you live. We're probably going to
Or
let you live, to be honest.
or torture. We're probably not going to torture you.
We're probably not going to torture you. We just want
It's
information.
I will say what I said to the big guy. All right. I had no intention of being under the employ of Gunner. I'm a paladin of Helm. I was sent to, with my partner, to investigate some strange happenings with some crazy sorceress in Wanti country. And she did something to my mind. I ended up under the service of a religious zealot named Mira, and I was sent here to rot for the rest of my days. And I was strong, so Gunnar put me on his crew and honored my request that I didn't do anything that I didn't want to do.
You.
I thought you were all assassins sent to kill Gunnar by the church.
I'm sorry.
So-
Alvar, you can go ahead. We're so bad at interrogating. I should have done this first. I'm gonna approach you, and I do, and I reach out a hand. Don't resist this, otherwise we will have to hurt you.
What is this, like a zone of truth or something?
It's you know, I'm improvising, and I
Sure.
cast suggestion on him.
Okay.
Uh, well, only tell us the truth for the duration of this conversation.
Um, Give me a persuasion check.
Hmm. 29.
Okay, just missed the DC. He does resist the spell.
Okay.
I'll go over cast. Did it not work?
No, it didn't work. Why'd you do that? How are we? We need to know you're telling the truth.
Look, um, you can do what you want. I'm telling you the truth, and you can take it or leave it. All right?
Let me ask you this then. Do you still work for Mira?
So I never worked for Mira. I was sent to investigate someone that was one of her allies. And my cover was blown, and I, for a brief time, was her prisoner, and I was handed off to Gunnar and his goons to rot for the rest of my days with my partner.
I'm just having a hard time believing that.
What
Let
did
me,
you? Oh, go ahead.
yeah, go
Sorry,
ahead.
Laura.
Okay, I was gonna say I still have that dress on. And I go to cross my robotic leg that's kind of open over my other one, and I'm going to cast Enthrall.
What? Oh, oh.
I need a wisdom save.
Okay,
Trying the feminine guile
he
here.
will he will fail that with a natural one.
Okay.
And with enthrall, all it means is he has disadvantage on perception checks to see anyone other than you.
Yep,
So he's now locked
that's
in on
fine.
you.
Yep. So who is it you really do work for then? I suspect even through all this you haven't quit your main job. Who is it you actually work for then?
No, I'm a crusader of Helm.
Hell, what happened with your time at Mira and under Mira's ownership or whatever the hell you'd like to call it?
Uh, I was investigating the godling that was called Bensosia, and didn't find out much other than supposedly she's the actual daughter of a creator deity. Um, she drove my partner insane. She made me see the future, and then handed me off to Mira, who handed me off to Gunner.
How long were you with Mira?
Um, say maybe about a week.
Week.
I mean, with it would be putting it. I was basically in a cage in the jungle.
So, what do the Paladins of Helm? What's their vibe? You guys do good stuff, murder
You
people.
you've heard of the Paladins of Helm. I mean, that's Sarah Stoneheart's crew.
Oh, they're the people who are all tough.
Yeah, he just goes. I mean, Helm. I feel like you should all know this, but the reputation of Helm should be somewhat notable. I mean, deity of lawfulness. We are here to maintain order and civilization, especially in a world where, um, you know, every 2-bit sorcerer has some hope of, casting an ancient Netherese spell to become a god. There's multiple near world ending events kind of on the horizon. Um, so yeah, it is our pledge to maintain order in Karsus.
I try to like. Can we sidebar? Can we sidebar for a moment, real quick, guys?
I'm not fucking going anywhere.
Um. Yeah, I kind of think we should. What I should probably let him go, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, he
Threat us, I
doesn't
don't think.
seem like a bad guy.
He resisted the
Kind of
spell for some reason, but probably telling
probably
the truth.
because he's tired of having his mind controlled. Is kind of the vibe I'm getting.
I would like to. Can I look over him for like any? Like I'd let him know like I'm a life cleric. Um, can I look over him for any tattoos, curse marks,
Give
other than
me a
Gunner?
give me actually an Arcana check.
Okay.
Uh, take this with advantage and double your proficiency actually, because
Okay.
you are you're the
With
curse
curse marks and
whisperer.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. 5.
What? Wait, what?
Yeah, I rolled a 17. Double my proficiency is 8 because I have a +0 with Arcana, so that's 25.
They said 5.
I heard 5 as well. Okay.
No, no,
Um. So couple things. First off, he's decked out in armor that has like sigils to helm. It's almost embarrassing. You're like, I probably should have clocked that this was a paladin to helm by like looking at him for even a single second. Because he's not subtle. Um,
I'd be
you,
trying to look
however,
under the armor for yeah.
I mean, you can like, unless you're going through and like doffing his armor and disrobing him, like you can't see what's under the armor.
All
I
right.
will say with that check, the the curse mark of the Underhorde Reformatory,
Yeah.
his is ever so slightly different than all of yours. You look at this mark and you get the sense that he was not branded with this at the prison, or it was done by someone that wasn't actually with like the Iron or the Underhorde
Because they
Reformatory.
didn't, yeah, so they didn't get it right. So there's a flaw in it.
It you are hard it with that insane check, your impression
Because
is
I know
more
I know how to bestow that curse even. So
you do. I would say your impression is more that his curse is was made to look like the one at the Underhorde Reformatory. But just because this is your specialty and inspecting it for whatever reason you did, um,
yeah.
you clock it.
And
Cool.
I'd ask him, how'd you get this curse right here on your neck? As I'm behind him, like tapping on it.
I got it when I came into the prison. I couldn't see because I had a blindfold on the whole time. But they told me that you have one too, so the same one that you got, I assume. Or sorry, he says that to like all of you because Alara does not have one of those curses.
I go over to Cass and Sandara like Mark wasn't put there by Gunner. It's different. It's not the same as yours. It's made to seem like it is. I'd be whispering this to him, obviously.
So that
But
that lines
what
up with this story.
yeah, what does it do? Maybe it's another type of curse. Maybe it's the
Maybe.
curse that got him in this whole mess to begin with.
Could be to I mean, I'll just say I already believe him and trust him, and I don't think he's somebody worth killing. Like, it doesn't seem necessary.
Thank you.
I don't find it threatening to us
We're
or relevant
whispering.
to
Can you
us.
at least pretend to not hear us?
Okay.
You know what? Fine. Pretense is
So,
fine. I inspect his tattoo with the eyeglass.
Ah.
Mm.
Um. So, this is not the Underhorde curse. When you identify it, this is actually a curse of surveillance. So anything that is seen or heard through the eyes of the curse bearer are relayed to whoever placed the curse on him.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what I assumed. And I step back out in front of him.
What?
I mean, your tattoo is not the same exactly, and I just want to say to whoever's listening or watching, we didn't really directly mean to harm your guy, and I don't think we're gonna harm him anymore or at all.
Stop. Stop it.
I mean, it.
Why?
I agree. Cass, can I talk to you outside real quick?
He just
Yes.
nods.
Alara, you too. Everybody, let's go.
Yeah.
And as we walk out and close the door behind us, I think based on his story, the person that could be either the weird Wanti sorceress or Mira herself put that on him. And she's watching us now. Obviously, Alara, you've mentioned she's got some interest in you, but I would prefer
Yeah.
that whoever is watching us is. I don't want anybody watching us, and I think maybe we should just take that curse off. Alara, do you think you could do that?
I can
And
do that.
then we get this guy back to uh, the people in New Callum. I don't
Yeah.
know. What do you guys think?
I say we drop him off wherever we make wherever we land, and he should be okay. He'll find his way from there.
Well, we can. If
You don't need to take him all the way to his doorstep, I think.
I mean, we're going to New Callum, and
Yeah.
the people are in New Callum, so we don't have to like kick him off the ship.
Okay.
No, he'll make his way to the Sea of Swords. And yeah, I mean, I guess might as well try to remove it.
Yeah, I can.
I
I
mean,
can do that.
I don't know if I'm gullible, but he just seems like this could have happened to any of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I will. I'll
in a
give it
way.
my best to remove this front guy a little bit. It might be a little different than the one the gunner has, but maybe I can learn something new here.
I
Unless it's
Cass,
supposed to be there.
Yes.
since you identified the curse, is it everything he sees and hears?
I believe so. Yeah, it's kind of like I can hop into an animal's eyes and ears. It's like what you do with Onyx, I believe.
Okay.
Do you think we could send him a message and tell him what we're doing
So he's like
so
a
he doesn't
walking
resist?
clairvoyant. So
Um, I mean, I'm willing to give it a go.
And
I'll
just
I honestly
cast.
would like. I think we could utilize that curse if I can learn how to use it. We
yeah.
could maybe make something for us to use.
Okay. Um, I'll cast sending to him and say, "Okay, we're coming in."
The spell fails.
Ah,
Oh, it is like Gunner's curse then.
A little bit.
It's not. You identified it. It's specifically not.
yeah. It's
Why
just
does the spell fail?
it's got the same. It must just have the same property,
But it
But if
doesn't.
it's a different
but it
curse
doesn't.
entirely, then something else is preventing. Uh, let's go back inside.
I go back inside
Oh my god.
and I cast.
Oh, is he dead? He run inside.
Um, as you enter, you see in a split second. First off, he's gone.
Look.
You notice behind the bars, there's this blue shimmer as at where the wall of the ship is, you see instead a dark and murky forest. And on the ground, you see this heap of white armor. And standing behind, you see a kind of dark skinned, kind of lithe female holding two blades both completely soaked with blood as this gate slowly closes. As she uh, kind of like whips her hand over, and as that happens, you watch as there's like this cloak that appears around her in the same uh, exact same cadence that this gate closes.
All right. Well, we know that was the
Okay.
sorceress in the thing.
That's
That did
not
not look like Mitra.
good. Oh,
I'm gonna work on protecting the ship now, including
I
this fucking.
Yeah, if you can make stuff like that not happen, that would be
That's
great.
yep.
I
I'll
feel
I
so
will.
bad
Yep.
for
I'll
that
give it
guy.
everything you got.
if I can help you,
So I'm gonna go
I'll
in
help you.
and start um, etching on the wall for protection marks. Um, specifically the rooms for right now.
Okay.
So that way, if I can, that way no one can like sneak in through a room onto the ship. If they did so, hopefully they'd have to take the main entry onto it. I know that's not how teleportation spells work, but in my mind, teleporting yourself into a closet that no one can see, or a room that no one can see into, and then walking into the ship would be a lot more dangerous.
I'll allow anyone here to make an Arcana check on what just
Ooh,
happened.
yes. 19.
What's the highest level of spell you can cast, Sandara?
5th.
Okay. Okay. Uh, the DC for this was 18.
Damn.
Um, this is you've seen this spell before, and you've seen it cast by Solinor. This is some pretty high level magic. This was not a teleportation effect. This was a gate spell. So they opened up, someone opened up a gate and pulled him through it, which is why you didn't see or hear anything, because he was in some dark forest when all this happened. Um, you get the sense that when you said we're all leaving the room, and after you had that conversation where he spilled whatever beans he spilled, um, you get the sense that he was sent to the Underhorde Reformatory probably as a surveillance device to watch Gunner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully no
I
threat to us at the moment.
relay that.
Almost certainly a threat to us, but add it to the list.
Damn it, I wanted to learn how they did that curse.
That would have been useful.
Very useful. We could have always been in communication with each other technically. Whatever. Okay. Um, yeah, I'm just doing I think you call it transmutation circles and shit like that, just all over the ship, wherever I can for the next whatever hours before we dock.
I mean, I think we still have like a day.
Yeah.
We're fast, but I know for that fast.
Okay.
Occasionally throughout the day, Cass just like comes behind you like a grandpa and like hands behind the back observes your work.
Yep.
It's like
I love that.
I've not
Imagine there's just like
familiar.
a frown and a nod.
Yeah. And this is going to keep out people from teleporting in here, right?
um, it should. Hallow, from
Can
what
we
I'm
still
reading on it,
teleport?
um, I believe so. So first off, it protects us from celestials, elementals, fays, fiends, and undead. Can't enter the area, nor can such creatures charm, frighten, or possess creatures within it. So that's good. Any charmed, frightened, possessed creatures that are in there are no longer charmed, frightened, or possessed. The possession thing will be good with Samugi and your Oni adversary. So while you're on the ship, you can't be possessed. The second part is what's going to take a little longer. I get to bind an extra effect to this. Choose an effect on blood jam, some of the effects may apply. Okay. This is up to you, Alex, too. Um,
It seems like you're trying to block um, teleportation.
yeah,
So there's specifically one called extra dimensional interference, where
I
affected
see.
creatures can't move by teleportation or extra dimensional or interplanar means. I would say
Deal.
something like that would have interfered with a gate spell or other teleportation magic, for sure.
That's what I would do then. Yeah.
Now,
And
keep in mind, there is
yeah,
supposed to be the reading of Gunner's will with the suspected plan that the way that people are going to get here would be by teleportation.
well, it says specific, like I choose a specific creature or creatures.
So, so are you saying you want to
Oh,
open up the ship to teleportation by Conrad Grix, Mira the Death Cleric,
Shit.
Her legal name.
no,
All of the
no,
worst
I'd rather,
people.
Brother?
I just,
Just
well,
let the
I'm gonna make it
Savage
so,
7 come on, it's fine.
yeah, I'm gonna make it so no one can teleport onto the ship except for us. Is that
Maybe wait
possible?
till after the will reading then.
Yeah.
Or if that's when they wait to make their move to retake the ship and
Well,
everything else on it. I say people can teleport to land to the damn port where we sit, and they can walk on like normal people.
I don't think we're going to be in New Callum by tomorrow or today.
I don't think so. Yeah. Because last time we did this, wasn't it like a 3-day trip?
Yeah. Maybe you can complete all of it except for like one
I
last sigil
Yeah,
and
there's
then
like
wait until afterwards.
it's yeah,
Um,
it's gonna take me 24 hours to complete this entirely. So
I will
I'll
say,
do the first step. Yeah,
you all, by the way, would have noticed that as you were working on this, um, there's an area towards the back of the ship where there is a huge teleportation sigil that looks different than any teleportation sigil you've ever seen. And you see Luke has been studying this for like the last few hours, and he's sitting there just going like, "Remarkable, Solano, your work never ceases to amaze. Well done, old friend."
Luke, do you want to
Okay.
explain what's going on? This is a quite a big teleportation sigil.
It's it's modular, which means it evolves when the owner of the ship wants it to. So
Okay.
it's like a rotating key. So once it's used, you can change the sigil so that it cannot be used again.
ooh, that's cool.
Okay. So we
And it
can lock the ship from teleporting,
comes
but
along.
invite people in.
You could lock it entirely because you can break the runes. Because look
Oh,
here, and he kind of begins like messing with this like kind of device that's right next to it, and you watch as there's like these four rotating plates that all meet together to create these runes, and they can rotate away. So you can break and like reconnect the seals. But then within that, you can also vaguely adjust the signature of the sigil itself. And there's like hundreds of permutations. And he goes, and it comes with this nifty little codex. So if you look here, you flip the pages and you just say, hey, this is the pattern I want to go to. And then there's a little instruction booklet with how you do it. So look, we see here, let's just log this. There and two over to the left, up, up, down, down. And you watch as he like adjusts the sigil to match the one in the book. And he just says, so, shall we give it a whirl? He like does a little like heel kick and then casts a teleportation circle and teleports 5 feet onto the circle.
Oh.
It works.
Okay.
Okay, well that's wonderful.
I see you're trying to do something with the ship. I don't want to interrupt, but I just thought this was pretty nifty.
Very.
Although you'd
It's
have to
I
have it with you at
see.
all times. That's the one downside. Because if you lose this, then it's like, dude, where's my ship?
Well, that's good. We can, whenever we leave, we can set a specific code with the book, put the book in the hole, and just only us kind of know how to get back to the ship.
And then
So, I will say, with that in mind, you can also set a hallow spell to block teleportation unless it's through the circle. And then you always have control of the circle, and you can choose when it's open or closed, and you can choose like what the passcode is. But just keep in mind there's like the tiny risk of locking yourself out if you don't have the codex that goes with it.
I'm gonna do the first part of mine to keep us safe from celestials, phase fiends, and undead.
I mean,
And
it's a
I'll,
casting time of 24 hours, so it's
yeah,
you're working on it. It's going to be a lot of time before it becomes relevant.
yeah, before it's even in effect. Okay.
As doing that, I'll start enacting my plan or attempting to link up the Sentinel and the ship. So I guess I'll just commune with them both at the same time is my assumption on how I have to do this.
So cool.
Still plugging it into the mainframe.
Plugging it into
Yep.
the mainframe.
So, sorry, Sodar, what are you
Okay,
doing?
that's-
I'm gonna try and plug in the Sentinel to the mainframe,
Oh,
aka
Fun.
the ship, not the real mainframe. I don't want it dug in the Solomar.
so interesting. So you want to give the Sentinel control over functions of the ship?
No.
I want to mesh the I've been calling it the clockwork
Oh.
void. I want to mesh the clockwork void of the ship with the clockwork void of the Sentinel. And that way if I'm like communing
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So
Yeah.
to do that, this would be more than just casting a spell. You'd have to like take out some of the inner workings of the Sentinel, physically connect them to the ship, and then also kind of come up with some kind of relay where the
work on
ship
Wi-Fi.
can project
Yep.
to the body of the Sentinel. You're probably going to need some Oogie for something like this,
Oh yeah.
and this is going to be like a longer than like casting a cantrip. This is going to
Yeah.
take like hours
It's gonna
to do
yeah.
this. Yeah.
I'm snagging
Um,
Samugi. I'm like, we've got a project. Let's I've got some ideas, Samugi.
Step into my
Okay.
office.
I whip
Okay.
out like the blueprints to the well, I guess we need new blueprints. Where are the blueprints to the ship?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I mean you can find what you need. This is going to involve you kind of fitzing around with the engine room. And you are literally connecting like actual like sentience to the ship right now.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Okay. All right, I'm just letting you know the implications. Okay. Okay. You know that thing in the middle of the ocean that's keeping you alive? So,
Speak
Hold
now or
tight to
forever hold your
control.
peace if you guys don't want this to
yeah.
happen.
Hey, if you're confident of your control over your robot, we're good.
I mean, yeah.
Otherwise, it's gonna make a great
Fine.
moment later on.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't even
Um,
love the ship that much.
So, here's what we're going to do. This is going to be a combined skill check. I'm going to say the combined, and anyone else can help with this if you want. The combined DC between Samugi and Sandara is going to be 44.
Whoa.
What are we rolling for?
So you would do a tinkering check
I'll cast guidance.
Double proficiency
on
plus
who?
Do I get it?
intelligence.
Double proficiency
Samugi?
plus intelligence. Yeah.
Yep.
I'll say watching this, Chalice is hesitant, but if you believe in this, she will put her hand on your shoulder, and she will inspire you. Sundar, so you get a D10 to this roll. Anyone else doing anything?
You got this, Smoogie. I'll inspire you as well. Very half-heartedly from far away.
All right. So that's a D8,
It's a D8, yeah.
and you can add a D4 from guidance, Samugi, as well. So you get a D8 plus a D4 to your roll.
Okay.
And that's like a baseline, what tips it from a success and failure, and there's graded failures and graded successes too.
Okay.
Look
So
at everyone. I'm like, this could go
I rolled-
terribly wrong. I'm gonna be very honest. But also it could be amazing, and
as you're talking, Samugi like crawls out of the engine room crawl space, like kind of covered in like soot
It's
and
got
just like
wires.
dark energy, and it's like it's done.
Okay.
What was your roll?
I rolled an unnatural 20.
Unnatural 20.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that means Sandara needs a 24.
Yeah.
You can do this shit.
You got
Come on, you
this.
can do it.
Wait, was that with your inspiration? Okay.
With all the
So-
help below.
So
What
I will
am I
say
rolling?
with Samugi passing his part of the check, you have advantage and you add a D10.
Okay.
And this is a spell casting ability check.
Yo, what if I get a natural one?
Don't say that.
I mean,
think
you
if you
you need to roll high. I think even with
I'm
a
aware.
D10, you need to roll
Yeah.
high.
Yep.
And Chalice's
Okay.
inspiration do not explode.
Let's be honest. Neither
Okay.
do mine.
That's an 18 plus 5 is a 23 plus a d10 is
33.
Already
28.
broke it. You already broke it.
Hell yeah.
28.
My first roll without advantage, by the way, was a
Smashed it.
3.
Oh,
Okay, so yeah, without Samugi doing as well as they did, which it required some help.
That's you gnome.
So that is a total of 48, I believe. Right? 28 plus 20?
Yep.
That's what everyone rolled?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So you didn't quite get beyond like the super threshold, but nonetheless, it's going to take you the better part of a day to do this. So by the time you're finished with whatever you have wrought, you are now rolling into New Callum, where there's a ton of civilians.
Oh no.
So, so it's done. At this point, you watch as there's a relay that Samugi had thrown together to the Clockwork Sentinel, and you watch as it like powers down briefly, and for a second, the ship completely powers down and begins to sink.
What?
There's panic. From below decks, you just hear Chef Remley just go, "What the fuck?" And begin like marching up, and then in a second the ship like repowers up. You notice that the blue energy that was coming out of the engine room is now this gleaming golden light, and the ship stabilizes and is just kind of dead in the water. It's floating, but it's just kind of dead in the water. The Sentinel is powered down.
And, wait. Okay. So did it work? I'm asking you, Sandara and Samugi. What happened? Why did we break it?
No. It's not broken. I'm. Give me a second. And I like touch the
I-
engine room, or like go into the engine room and kind of look at Samugi and be like, you know what? Do you know what we just? Why is? I don't. Do you know what's going on?
Does
Yeah,
Samugi
like-
know what he just did?
Yeah, you did what she wanted, which is you put the fractured soul, existence, and intelligence of a woman formerly known as Beverly Waverly.
What a terrible name.
It is a terrible name. Into the ship.
Okay, I'm gonna talk
So
to Beth.
now,
Fine.
instead of like this fractured consciousness piloting a Clockwork Sentinel, it is now piloting the ship.
We're good. We're good. It's fine. We're gonna talk. I'm gonna commune and talk with Beth. Everything's fine.
Okay.
I'll commune with the whole ship. The whole
Okay.
ship. The whole ship. Sentinel relay we've
So,
got going on.
You
Hop into the
step-
Wi-Fi.
Yep, you step into the void to troubleshoot. And you can feel like synapses firing throughout the ship right now. Like someone just being thrust into a body and like figuring out and feeling like what their form is. And there's no language, but you have this general existential like, what am I? That's like overpowering this void space.
Hello. Can you sense me in here?
There is acknowledgement of your presence. And you sense fear.
No need to be scared. My name's Sandara. I'm just a sorcerer, lady elf, just messing around with some stuff I didn't understand, and might have thrust you into something you didn't understand either.
You hear like a chorus of a single female voice, just like multiplied like 100 times over and echoing on itself, of, I can't move.
So, I thought you weren't here. I apologize for bringing you into this mess. Do you remember your name by chance?
No.
Well, we'll figure something to call you, whatever you prefer. But you are a soul inside of a machine that's now inside of another machine.
I need you to make a persuasion check.
It's a little weird.
That was a human like not that long ago.
I know, but I thought she was gone from the Sentinel. 22.
22. Okay. You begin to hear this like anger brewing up from this thing as it just goes, what did you do to me?
We found you like this. I'm sorry. And I didn't know that the soul was still in here. I'm so sorry. If I knew, I wouldn't have messed around as much as I did.
What if I don't want to be like this?
Then I'll find a way to release you.
The ship begins moving. And it begins accelerating.
Where are we going?
I gotta get out. I gotta move.
Okay. Hear me out.
I need air.
While this is happening, sorry, can I go to the deck and make sure that like we're not headed straight at any like cliffside or Titanic style?
You got multiple minutes before you hit the city.
Okay.
Okay.
Couple minutes.
I've got
Um,
something in my brain to help stop
You've got like
us.
10s of minutes.
Sandara?
Okay. Bev. Is it okay if I call you Bev?
Give me another persuasion check.
40 palms. A not natural 20.
Okay. All right, that's the second success. So with that, she just goes, "Here it is." And you hear this from all around you as the dark iron plating falls off the side of the ship
Oh no.
Oh,
and
What is
begins
going
to
on?
take flight.
Sandara,
As it
don't
is
conquer your
moving
mind.
still towards New Callum, but you're now at a point where you're probably going to be above the buildings by the time you intersect.
Okay, Bev, I need you to listen to me. We're going to take some deep breaths together, in and out, okay? This is all going to be fine. And if you want to leave, we're going to figure that out. You've got a great crew of people who are pretty nice, and we try to do good things for the world. And if one of those good things is figuring out how to free your soul, we'll do it, okay? So just breathe with me. Take a nice deep breath in and out slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Zendara, is it?
Yes,
I can't breathe because I
that's.
don't have lungs anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's
Okay.
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 But what I do have are these. And you, in this state, you just hear this like whirring from either side of you. And you hear like a deep breath in and a sudden and powerful release.
Oh, no.
Thank
Uh,
you. That did
Did
feel
you
much
just
better.
fire one?
did she just fire a cannon?
She fired all of the side cannons. Now you're headed towards the city, and she didn't fire the lance that's on the front of the ship, so these shots just go off the side.
So we just made ourselves known coming in. Just goosh.
Yeah, you begin to hear like some alarms begin to sound within the city.
Mm,
Oh
Well,
Jesus
it's
Christ!
it's this boat that's not good.
Whatever
that.
she's doing, she better get it
I,
down.
I need you to make a final persuasion check.
Guys! I'm trying my best. Oh my god.
You're doing good. Breathe.
Oh,
Yeah, you got this.
23.
23. Okay, so that is a third and final success.
Oh thank God.
So what does Sundara do? What is Sundara saying right now as you? In fact, I'm not going to say this is a success until I hear what you have to say because I haven't said
Oh,
anything
Oh
yet.
God.
Okay. I am going to. Sandara's.
I'll tell you what. I'll buy you some time as the ship just says, "This can work. This is good. We can find the ones who made me like this, who made the rest of them like this, and we can end it together."
I agree. I'm truly, genuinely sorry that this has happened, and I would be happy to work relentlessly to stop this from happening in the future. We already have some information on where the captured souls are coming from and how to take that down. And so, if you want to work with us, I don't know, we could probably be a pretty good team.
It's more than just you,
Mm-hmm.
and you're on this vessel right now.
Yes. And we're heading towards a city full of people who are also good people.
You watch as the ship kind of begins to keel and turn back towards where it came from. I suppose I don't have a choice in the form that I take, and the life that I had is gone. You seem trustworthy, and I do not wish to hurt anyone else. Unless that is what you wish of me. And
Hey.
that you watch as she flies back to this specific position. And you watch as while you're still like flying in the air, there's this like ripples and waves that come out from beneath you, and you hear these as the dark iron plates are reconnecting as you're in the air to bring you down.
Are we coming down like fairly quick for those of us on
You're
deck?
coming straight down. This is like a helicopter landing. Like you're coming straight down.
Okay.
Cool.
Once we land in the water, I'd run downstairs to see what the fuck just happened.
Bev, my mind is open to you at any time, okay? You probably won't be able to communicate with the other members of the ship, but anytime we can talk, and I'll keep you updated on figuring out the souls.
There's no response.
Okay, that's good enough for me. Oh, thank God. I leave the void.
Okay. You leave the void. And at this
Okay,
point,
okay, guys.
everyone is like looking around. Everyone's looking at you. Like
What
even
the fuck
like
just-
some of the chefs have come up to the top of the deck, and then Borden also is looking at you, and you watch as his gaze goes like beyond you, and he reaches out to pull out like a cleaver, and he just kind of like holds it at the ready, and you turn, and you watch as the clockwork sentinel with the relay device comes up to you, and there's like this buzzing sound, and you can make out some language as she just says, "Thank you, Sandara."
Oh, yay. Great. Can talk. That's cool. So, guys, this is Bev. She's part of the icebreaker now and is really upset about her soul being stolen. So we're gonna work on not letting that happen to other people. Say hi.
Hello.
Hello.
I'd walk up and try to shake the sentinel's hand. If it has one, is it just the blade arm still?
It's blade arms.
Okay, I'm not gonna touch it then. Like, okay.
I mean, the blade arms do kind of connect to make like a kind of blunt, somewhat like fin. So there's like a 2-arm and a 4-armed form. So it goes into the 2-armed form. But it just kind of like turns its head, looks towards you, Sandara, and just says, "I like the sensation of flight."
We fly around. That sounds.
Should
I
it be
agree.
useful, I would very much like to do that again.
I am 100% with you on that. We got a bit some business in New Callum, and then we'll fly off.
I'll be here when you need me. So now, with this, you have generated like an autopilot function for the ship, and we'll say that if it ever comes up, if there's like ship combat, you will be able to offload one extra function to Bev as though she was a member of the crew.
Lair actions, guys.
That's
We've got our
awesome.
own.
Yes. Hell yeah.
Fire the cannons!
No, don't.
no, I'm not saying that right now.
About
Also
that,
got, like-
they kind of see it coming now.
It's got like a
Oh,
remote
that-
start function too now.
Mhm.
Like a
Yep,
getaway
if you're within
Yeah.
range of your commune with clockwork, yeah.
This bad boy is upgraded to the max. Teleportation circle, sentience, cannons. We've got a lance. I don't know what it does.
And don't forget about your banker, Miss Sandara.
And a banker.
And
They're
an
trusted
onboard banker.
Chef.
Got an
Hell yeah.
ATM. So I, really quick, as you pull into port, I will say Varric and Vitali, over the journey, have cataloged some of the items that they found in the captain's quarters, as Gunnar had a little stockpile of treasure. So do you want me to read this out to you now?
Yes.
So all of his the gold, it looks like he deposited in his own bank, which you do not have access to. You can see by his ledgers that Gunnar, in just like gold, is worth 860,000 gold.
Holy shit.
Wow.
So he's been busy.
Only we. Never mind.
In
Should we kill-
his
kill his mom?
hoard, where there is no gold whatsoever, you approximate about 38,000 gold pieces worth of antiques and various gems. So in addition to that, if someone's ready, some of the things that Varric and Vitali have dug up are: there's an illithid tadpole, there's 2,500 gold pieces worth of embroidered silk. By the way, there's a divine enchanting altar in the captain's quarters.
Oh, better than our cracked
Okay.
janky altar.
The janky altar is also still here and it works, and that's an arcane lectern, so that gives you
Oh.
access to arcane and divine enchantments. There's a potion of vitality, a potion of flying, and a potion of invisibility. There is a horn of blasting.
Okay, wait. Quick pause. Sorry. Potion of flying. Potion of invisibility. Okay. Up to date.
And 2 platinum bracelets that are gemmed with a sapphire, that are worth 1,500 each for a total of 3,000.
Cool. So Cass, wanna go see your parents, or is that what's happening now?
Yeah. Yeah, we need to let them know Chalice is saved and all of that.
Let's park legally this time.
Yeah, I suppose we should like buy a parking permit or whatever to legally dock in the.
As you approach, you see that there is a reception waiting for you at the port,
Don't like that.
and there is specifically a group of
Don't
gold wardens, and you
Yep.
watch as one of them is holding up a white flag.
Oh no.
That was an accident. Somebody get a white
You-
flag.
You
Somebody.
hear a like a thaumaturgy empowered voice just go, "Gunnar, we wish to avoid senseless violence. Violence. We are ready to hear your terms. Terms.
Autoloot, can you like tell them that that's not?
Sure, do you want me to go like full doom mode and
No.
really squeeze this for all it's worth?
No, just give them just yell and be like, ship is under new management.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. There you
ownership.
go.
Gunner is
Or
not
ship,
here
yeah.
to destroy your city.
Very good, very good.
Tell them- tell
I
them
might
the
as well get some
Revenants.
high ground for this. Oh, and I'll need my staff. And he takes it and like walks up, and you watch as like he begins like summoning storms.
I shouldn't have. I look over at Cass and Alara. I should not have asked Autoloot to do
And he
this.
just goes, "People of New Callum,
You wanted drama.
the ship is under new ownership,
Oh gosh.
and you are now what is generally considered safe."
These wizards like to show off. That we should have
would-
kind of. They like to
Could-
flex on each other. Let them have
Could
it.
have
Be
been worse.
clear,
been
me
worse.
summoning storms is the only way right now I have to project my voice. It is not a threat.
Good clarification.
Yeah, that's pretty good, Auto Luke.
Yeah, I thought
Prep.
this was the same spell that I used back in the prison, where I was like, "You've chosen the way of pain." No, not you. And you, as like, eventually this all gets sorted out. There's a representative from the Merchant Council who greets you and just says, I don't know if you've ever been told this before, but you guys are I mean, technically, yes, it's a no wake zone, but the spirit of the law is that you just came in way too fast and got too close and firing off the cannons. Obviously, with this ship, just sort of, technically there's no skyport here. Although I can see that it's now operating as a boat. Um, so just in the future, just you were flying way too low.
Sorry about
Oh,
that.
sorry about that.
Too
We're
high, too
We had a
low.
little ship
figuring things out.
malfunction.
Is there
Nothing
a
to worry about.
is there a like a port fee? Do we pay that to you, or
I
like,
mean,
could we just?
you're not declaring war on New Callum right now, are you?
No.
No, we just wanted to park.
Yeah. Tell you what, we can call it good for now. We can deal with that later.
No war. We get to
You're not
park for
declaring
free.
war on us. Or you're
We
not
don't
going
get.
to unload.
You're not gonna ticket the ship.
No.
Okay.
Well, we can talk about that later. I don't
All
think
right.
anyone's going to ticket this ship.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, this was a bad time for a show of force.
Yeah, there's probably some trauma behind all of that.
Well, not just that, but just with sure.
Wait, but with the what?
Well, it's you wouldn't care about this. There's just a vote coming
no.
imminently in the next few days, and
Oh, is this the vote about giving Duchess Dunsparrow all the power of the city?
yeah.
People
And
don't like
sure enough,
that, or
well, yeah, because her point was like, well, what if Gunnar comes back? And we're like, well,
We showed up.
and you show
Well-
up now in the same ship, except now it flies and you fire off cannons, and we were like, we really should have listened. So I think this is just sort of more fuel to the fire. It's not a you problem.
Gunners?
Really
Nah,
not.
never mind. I'm not gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you're all safe for now. Thank you for the
Yeah.
warm welcome and the fanfare and all of that, and the free parking.
Yeah.
Too.
In the free park.
Sure. Yeah. It's not gonna matter. Anyway.
Like, tall. Is this what type of creature is this?
This is just a very tired-looking dwarf.
Okay. I just want to like gently just put my hand on his head, just a light pat, just like it's sorry, man. It's gonna be okay.
Sort of demeaning.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's okay, little buddy.
I feel like
mean,
Samugi would have been okay with it.
Well, we take sensitivity courses on where it's appropriate to touch, and what we found is the best spot is really just the side of the arm here.
Okay,
Because
I
the
move.
head is clearly like I am higher than you, both physically and in station, which in this spot is true on both accounts. And just,
I moved to the arm. I
that's
haven't
the
taken
moment
those
gone,
courses. I'm so
really.
sorry.
yeah,
I'm gonna just walk off now.
yeah, that's probably
Cass,
for
you talk with people. I don't talk with people.
Thanks,
Okay.
sir. You are dismissed.
You're just terrible at
Oh,
first impression.
very loud arrival in New Callum.
Yeah. We would have had a bad chance saying we just like to flex like the wizards do, and that was how we knew how to do so. I forgot Gunner's ship has a reputation.
Also, theoretically, should not have done that outside of town, but didn't know that the risk was destroying a whole city. So, my bad.
So,
Well,
I'm gonna go grab a green bottle before we leave the ship.
It's like a hey, mom and dad,
Okay.
I'm back.
As your ship,
Like, come back
uh,
as Vale.
yeah, okay, good to know. As your ship docks, before anyone gets off the ship, you see 3 individuals get on.
Just walking on.
see two kind of younger humanoid individuals, and then a goblin that you recognize as Briggs.
Oh shit.
Hey.
Okay.
Oh.
How's the go? All right, captains. Good to see you. It's been a while. Leland told me that you're all back in business, so good to be on a real ship. I like that display you had out there. I'm sure. I'll tell you what. I'll just get acquainted with the gear, and we'll talk.
Don't.
And he goes over to inspect the cannons. You hear shouting off the side, and you see some of the crew have noticed that Leland is attempting to board the ship on the side as he
Oh.
has taken a little like rowing vessel and like rowed up to the other side of the ship and is just like clambering onto it.
I'd like to help him if I can. Help him out. Like, Leland's back. Yay.
Like pops back on. He says, I see that the rest of my first off, captains,
Then?
yeah, little captain. It's clear to me that my crew's already made themselves comfortable. You remember Briggs, and then I got some old talent from a previous gig of mine. This is over here Nick, and that's Danny Boy. Good
Oh
folks.
no.
Nice to meet
Alex,
you.
did you
and
steal those
Danny Boy?
from
So, of course he did. What do you mean, did he?
That's great.
Yeah. You gotta watch out for Nick. He's got a mouth on him, but he's other than that, just be stern. Keeps things
He's-
pretty. He's a good sailor. He will be a good sailor one day. Danny's solid. Gets into a tight spot. He's good to have at your side. So he's my main sort of cannoneer.
We're glad to have you back, Leland. You and your friends. Missed
You
you, buddy.
trust them? I trust them. And I look over at Cass and Samugi and the rest of the crew. Be like, yeah.
Well, I mean, they're his
Well-
friends, so. What the
And-
fuck?
Don't know what to say.
I trust is I tell you what, they're not going to turn into like some kind of pit fiend or something like that. So if there's ever an issue, just they'll perish real easy.
Like to hear that.
Uh,
You can't run a ship without having a couple expendables.
rest in peace, Billy.
I don't
Rather
even
him
remember
than
who
one
that
of
was.
us.
I don't even remember.
Oh, the bosun. No, that
Yeah.
was pretty traumatic for me. No,
That-
yeah,
Sorry.
that's okay. It's added to the list. All right. Well, so we
Well-
setting off?
Uh,
No.
not quite.
We're
got
going to be
some-
here for a little bit, I think. The ship is also going to be quite busy in the next coming day, or perhaps today.
Okay.
A lot of important, powerful people, I guess, here to discuss the death of
Oh, you're looking to parlay.
something like that, yes. If you want to be hidden away with the rest of the undignifieds.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm about as dignified as they come. If new people come on the ship, I'm happy to mingle.
I mean, Leland, I will say, we don't have a first mate yet, technically, right? Above the table.
I thought Leland was your first mate.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
But I'm saying with all the new crew that's on the ship,
No, you
it has
don't.
really kind of claimed that they're okay. There are a lot of new people on the ship, so you might need to like kind of look at the payroll, is what some fancy guy said. Just so you can kind of acquaint yourself with all the people that you're gonna be managing.
You got a whole kitchen now downstairs.
Yeah.
It's got a
And
bunch
if you
of
feel
good
like you need to
chefs.
trim some people off, like that's totally fine.
You
Not
are
kill
in
them, but like
charge.
fire them.
Kill him if you
I
need to.
find once we set out to sea, the sea will trim the fat for us.
Right.
Don't know what I expected. That's a very Leland statement. Okay.
He kind of like nods and begins like looking around. You see him kind of like wander downstairs towards the kitchen.
That'll be interesting. I would love to be a fly on the wall for that.
I really hope we come back and nothing's damaged.
I'm
Okay,
sure they'll
well,
have sorted out.
what do you guys, Cass, Alara? What do you guys want to do? Samuki?
Vera, can you go let the chef know that we've got new crew members? I would, but I'm not good with my words.
You're
So.
not allowed to talk.
So
And Ferric's better.
yeah, Vera's better.
All right, so
I guess to the Platinum Jackal, Jaded Jackal, the place my parents are.
The
I've already
jackalope.
the Jackalope. I've already forgotten the name.
okay. So you make your way over to the Jaded Jackal. Is that what your group's doing?
Whichever fucking place my parents are located
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
I honestly don't remember the name.
That's okay. I
It's-
figured. Um,
I'm gonna laugh if every time we come here we go to the wrong spot every time.
yeah,
I'm
I'll
gonna
say the
say
wrong one every time.
there's a sending spell to coordinate, and your parents are staying at the Jaded Jackal,
Okay.
which used to be the site of the Gilded Glaive that's since been disbanded. Um,
The entire walk there, like occasionally Vale glances and just keeps looking at the direction of what is now the Beaumont estate,
mhm.
just clutching her revolver in her coat pocket, just fiddling
Yeah.
with it over and over again.
Yeah, you see a heavy concentration of clockwork sentinels that begin to become more and more in number as you get closer to the estate, and then they diminish as you get further from it.
Private security.
As you go to the Jaded Jackal, you see the familiar face of Thomas Malone, the barkeep and former guildmaster of the Gilded Glaive, who looks over you all, kind of gives a nod, and you see your tiefling parents who are waiting with each with like a drink in hand, and your father like rushes over to you and Chalice gives you a very hearty hug that lasts too long, and he squeezes way too hard as he pulls you both in, and just goes, "I am the happiest
Founder.
man alive.
Good to see
Both
you
my
two again.
children are alive." I knew it, and with matching tattoos, no less. How's that? I knew that you two would really get along.
Well, we've really bonded over the last few days.
Sure, sure, and been to the Underhorde Reformatory, no less. That's carries with it a lot of street cred.
A bit, a bit of a return visit, yeah. It's good to see. Where's Mother at?
She's right behind. She comes over, gives you a hug and a kiss. Same with Chalice. They just kick off like the biggest party you've ever seen. There's music, drinking, there's gambling. It is a night of complete and total revelry. There's also moments where Cass and Chalice's mom like begin to pull group members aside and sort of like interview slash interrogate them.
Wait,
Like one by
this
one.
group?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
It's like there's like this moment where like Samugi, you're kind of sitting off to the side, and like you see like the kind of palish white tiefling who's like dancing, just like goes off into like this spinning flourish, and that goes into just like this walk directly towards you as she like sits down next to you and like grabs a drink and starts sipping it and just goes, "So how long have you known my son?"
No, I've been out of prison for, oh, what has it been now? Feels like years.
And what were you in prison for?
I was wrongfully accused of killing a man. It was really a demon that, I mean, no offense, but yeah, a different kind, just an oni rather. It's a long story.
Hyper offensive.
I see. And the sort of work you and Cass do, I imagine it's violent and dangerous.
Oh, yes, absolutely, by nature. But,
Mm.
exhilarating and adventurous, and we've really grown quite close as a group, I would say, a little family unit, if you will, of course, which can't take the place of a true family unit.
No, it
You
can't. And if anything were ever to happen to someone within a real family unit, it's much different than if you lost someone from, your group, as well as the repercussions too.
sure, sure. I wouldn't know. My family's been dead for centuries, but I can imagine.
You gonna protect my son?
Absolutely. We are bonded as teammates, and I think we've all proven our loyalty to each other. In fact, I have stepped in and protected your son before, and I think he would do the same for me.
Very good. What was your name again?
Samugi.
Mm. It was an absolute pleasure
Sorry.
meeting you, Smoky.
As well.
My name's Anelia. And she gets up and kind of goes back to dancing. At some point, Sundara, you notice the kind of rotund, very like jolly red tiefling Zerai kind of like takes a break from dancing. He's like sweating. He like takes a handkerchief and kind of like dabs his face and just goes, "Can't quite move like I used to." And what's your name, young enchantress?
I'm Sandara. Nice to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you. You know, I couldn't help but notice. I saw the way that you and my son look at each other. There's something special there.
Are you sure you're thinking about the right? Wait, nah, that's not correct at all.
You know,
Uh,
you can, don't be embarrassed. I'm very well versed in the ways of the heart.
mm,
Perhaps it's something that even the two of you don't know yet, but believe me, I've seen these sort of things before, and I know how they go.
thank you.
You need to
Maybe
be
off.
careful. It can be tough when you're adventuring like this and going into dangerous situations.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
Falling in love with a comrade like that can get dicey,
Of
dangerous.
course,
That's
sir.
actually how I met my wife. I call her my white flame, my white hot flame.
You guys are an interesting bunch. I can see further
And
the
he
assess.
watches. He's just like staring at his wife, like from across the way, as he's like watching her dance with Samugi. And he's just like, it. It was sort of touch and go for a while, but ultimately completely worth it.
Mm,
So, I just want
mm-hmm.
you to know that.
Of course.
I wish the
Thank
two
you.
of you the best of luck.
I'm
And
thanks.
for what it's worth, I know that, there's cultural things to consider, but all that be damned, you would have my blessing.
Thank you, sir.
It
From
was
the
nice meeting
bottom.
you, Samara. And he steps away.
I get up and I go dance with Chalice.
Slightly off vibe.
Okay, so you celebrate with your parents. Uh, there is yet another night of revelry. Is there anything specifically, any interactions anyone wants to have at the table here?
I would just say, uh, Cass or Vale tries to get into a bit of like a little bit of a friendly competition with Chalice
Yeah,
and
perfect.
instrument playing.
Yeah.
But
Um,
Well, yeah, we'll leave it at
We'll say at some point, Chalice does kind of go up on her own and perform, kind of like at the behest of her very proud father, kind of like pushing her to play something new. So, with that in mind, after she performs, like your mother kind of looks at you and just says, "Cass, it's been so long since I've heard you play. Play us something."
Oh, yep. Of course. I mean, I've got a couple new tools, I guess, to show off. Chalice, you can stay up there, in fact. Why don't you? I mean, I'm sure you'll pick up on this real quick.
So as there's like, she's like mid song right now. She like waves you to come through, and she kind of like takes a step back as you take kind of like more of a like solo role. Go ahead and give us a performance check.
Oh, come on, phone. I am going to make this at disadvantage.
Why's that?
Uh, it doesn't really matter, but Cass is very distracted. He is actively trying with every act of this party to take his mind off of Dunsparrow.
Okay. Gotcha.
But I rolled a natural 20 and a natural 19.
Jesus Christ.
So that's, come on, 28.
28. Okay. As Cass comes through with like a face melting lute solo.
Halfway through the song, like a branch materializes into a bow, and like he uses multiple necks to like violin.
Yeah, and I would say not only that, but the way that the poly lute works, you actually like literally warp time so that you are almost like duetting with yourself and doing your own like battling solo with yourself in a way that is actually like impossible, and this is noticeable by the people who play. I would say as this happens, Chalice comes through as well, and gets a natural 20 on her performance check.
Holy shit.
That's gotta beat it, for sure.
This is awesome.
And I'd say, Cass, you are almost awakened by like, so whatever distracted phase you would be in, you're pulled out of that almost immediately, as it's been a while since you've heard Chalice play. And I'd say like from the so her total is a 33. So for like the layperson, your two solos were actually pretty equivalent. But this is with the notion that you've got like a magical lute where you're literally like kind of bending the rules of reality to give your performance. However, to a seasoned lute player, her solo put yours a little bit to shame. Just with her command of dynamics, and some of the things she's doing is like way above the head of like any layperson. But you actually seeing what she's doing, this is an absolute expert at the top of their craft. And you see that your parents, like hearing her performance, are like very unsurprised by this. They're kind of just like nodding and look at each other like, yeah, that's about right.
I like transition into like accompanying her playing and let her like take the lead and like sort of bow out a little bit in acknowledgement.
Well, she, as you kind of bow out and like start to step away, she like steps on your foot, and then she backs up into a like rhythm as well, and kind of pushes you back up to the front.
Okay.
She goes, "Come on, brother. Let's see what you've got."
All right, I
Oh,
thought this was a
shit.
fun, casual thing, but fine.
This is fun. You're having fun. Look at how much fun you're having.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun. You know, for someone who isn't a Manath, you're doing quite well. And I'm gonna unsettling words her.
Okay.
Okay, so what is this? Just a straight performance roll?
Great performance.
No. Natural 20 for 29.
Oh my
Gosh.
god.
All right.
The dumbest shit is getting hot rolls.
So.
I was gonna make a dumb joke as a Laura and say this is the best type of violence.
You should. You should
Pretty
make
good.
that.
It's pretty good.
That's to make a terrible joke.
We're not playing violins, but it's great.
You gotta say it out loud. There's like no response, and like through the crowd, there's almost like this blur and focus where you see Elenia, Cass's mother, just like slowly turn and like look at you and then look away. Okay, 29. Yeah. So how does this happen? Like what amazing thing does Cass do that borders on the impossible?
Well, he is not as technically skilled of a bard as she is. So I think Cass heavily leans on like the almost looping station of his instrument. Whereas before he was like simultaneously playing like two songs. I think he just full bores and like says like a little whisper like, "Come on, Polly, just make it as loud as you got," and
Yeah.
everything.
So I would say you do something. You let out a pretty like soulful and melodic solo. It's actually been a while since you've actually just played. So I feel like a lot of this is you just like surrendering to both the polylute as well as your own musicianship, where like it's almost like you take the pressure off of the performance to just play one of the most beautiful things you've played. And it comes to a head where you utilize kind of the time bending properties of the polylute, where you're right, you are not as technically proficient as your sister, but what you do is you play this interweaving sequence of melodies in half time, and you use the polylute's properties to double it into full time, where it is just this like chaotic weave of harmony that just blows everybody's mind, to the point where the band actually just stops playing and the song ends with both the two brother and sister here just I would say Chalice is just playing chords to accompany the harmony that you're overlaying on top of it, as she's kind of picked up on the pattern that you're putting down. And this song kind of crescendos in this very like kind of emotional, harmonious, free time spacey thing that like makes people stop dancing and just stop and listen, and people are just smiling. And it's beautiful. And everyone erupts into applause. Your parents run up and pull you both tight. You watch as Chalice slips into like a pocket pouch of yours 10 gold pieces.
Okay. I pretend to not notice, even if I do notice.
Yeah, well, she definitely like makes it very obvious where you can't ignore it, and she like even pats your pocket, and she just says, "That might have been the first time I've paid you."
Well, you know, I haven't been doing nothing. in the time I was away.
Don't worry, I'll be back for that 10 gold.
I'm sure you will. I hope you will.
I'm throwing minor illusion roses onto the stage. So good.
Hell yeah, that's cool.
Chalice is gonna minor illusion catch one.
I graciously bow and go and mingle with the rest of the group again, or just people if the group is scattered for the rest of the party.
All right.
Gotta go up to Cass and shake him. That was so amazing! I've
thank
never
you.
heard music like that.
Thank you. I don't think I've ever like played music like that, really. It was, yeah, you know, a little competition. You know, being out on the road, I'm just kind of trying to impress you guys, but like with
Zora,
competition.
your eyes kind of land on Zerai, his father, just giving you this nod of like.
Step back so quickly. Like, but that was good. That was great.
I wasn't that
No,
sweaty.
that's fine. That's cool.
Come over
Okay,
and
I'm gonna walk over this way.
I come over and take your hand. How many fingers did you have on that? I'm like,
Cass is
because
very
of the illusion of
confused.
how fast you're playing, I
Just-
picture him having almost like 10 fingers, fucking
I do.
playing that
Yeah,
lute.
it was like what it at times there was like almost this helicopter rotor thing where like his hand was just like a blur.
Right?
Just 5, always 5, different lengths, different texture. Always 5.
Really.
That was awesome.
At some point, Cass, you'll have a moment with both your parents where your mother just says, "I'm really pleased with the group that you've surrounded yourself with. It seems like they're good people. I really liked Samugi. He
Oh.
seemed great."
He's,
Didn't
you
seem
know,
like it.
probably the smartest out of all of us.
Mm. And then Zerai kind of like nudges you in the ribs, and he's like, "And that Sumara, huh?"
Sundara, she's good as well. She's very different from anybody
Yes,
else.
I can see why you chose her.
I mean, I didn't choose her. She was kind of just in the prison with me,
Of
and
course. I suppose I shouldn't have said it that way. Just the way that fate works out.
yeah, I mean, I'm glad I escaped with her. It was she's good to have around.
Makes for a good story.
Yeah, a great story. They always have to have a companion next to you.
He like smiles and nods and like looks lovingly at his wife, and then like looks back at you. This is like, I'm happy, you're happy.
This man is a menace.
Cass was
Anyways.
silent for quite a while.
I'm happy that both of my children are back, safe.
It's you know, it really is nice to just have some sense of everyone being back again, things kind of being normal. Howard.
Speaking of,
Yes, exactly.
they kind of look together and they say, "We've been thinking once we got your sister back, going back to Brightwater."
Oh. Yeah.
Newtown here's nice, but just the culture and the colors and the music, we just miss it. It's where we belong. And who knows, maybe even open up our own little Bard college there. Or maybe just some lessons on the side. I do miss teaching, shaping young minds, watching them fulfill their destinies.
That would be wonderful. I think, you know, College of Brightwater might have some failings in it now, and maybe it's time for just something new.
Exactly. Something new. Besides, we've practically built that place with our own hands. We can do it again.
Right. disappointed. I mean, I thought, well, I suppose Brightwater isn't too far away. I mean, we have a flying ship now. We can certainly
And they have a
visit.
skyport.
Right, yes, of course they do.
Of course you'll come by to visit.
Was there,
Fancy flying ship. My son has a sky ship, I'll say to everyone.
maybe not too loudly though. I mean, technically it's ours, but
It's like, oh, I'm sorry, what's that? You're the Duke and Duchess of this? My son has a sky ship.
okay,
My thing's better than your thing.
fair enough. Oh, fucking dog. Well, is there a timeline? Are you two planning on leaving soon, or?
I'm thinking within the next couple days. We saved up
Okay.
a little bit of coin from some of the performances here. Maybe a little start of something.
Right. If I mean, obviously, if either of you need help, I think we're kind of heading the opposite direction in the next few days. But I mean,
Oh no, we like to travel on foot.
oh,
Good memories doing that. It's been, can't go around teleporting everywhere.
yeah, it's not too far away. Yeah. You two will be fine.
Don't worry about us. We didn't necessarily accomplish, but we saw accomplish what we set out to have accomplished by coming out here. So
Hey, has there been any news about all of that sort of Dun Sparrow stuff in the city? How's the polls going or whatever?
now, Cass, tell me, did your parents know about Dunsparrow?
What aspect? What are you talking about?
Like the relationship.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Your father will put his arm around you and just say, sometimes as a young man myself, I found that I thought I wanted something. And he looks over towards Sandara and he says, and he finds something even better. And everything changes.
If you actually did that, I would be so offended. Oh,
I was eating a burrito.
it's not. It's not like that. In fact,
Look,
let me
you're
just
my
set things
son.
straight, Father, please.
You don't have to.
This is
you
going
don't
to
have
make things awkward later, so let me. Chalice has been flirting quite a lot with her, and I just don't even see her in that way, so.
Well, I don't blame her. Now you and your sister have been in competition for everything since she's been part of our family, so let's see it no other way. Look, all I'm saying is there's plenty of fish out in that sea, so
The polls, Father.
just dive into that ocean and go to town.
Terrible.
Goody goo goo.
You watch as your mother kind of pushes your father aside for a second and says, yes, the vote is happening in a few days. It looks like Dunsparrow is going to take a lot more of a mayoral role here in the city. Which, based on the fact that it seems that she's focusing so much on the defense, it seems like a good time to leave. We're noticing already that there's less of an interest in the arts and some of the finer things. So I think the timing's perfect.
It's a good choice then. Well, this was nice, and I think we should all just enjoy the time that we have here before settling back down in Brightwater.
You'll be by to visit soon.
Yes, I'll visit as
Yeah.
often as I can, and potentially come. We have this whole Alexi Faraday thing, and then I think it's back to maybe I could help build up the college. I am not much of a teacher, but I could help.
Sure. I'd love that.
Okay. I need to drink. I'm gonna go look for drugs that are harder than alcohol.
Oh,
It'd be
I
too hard
love
to
it.
find.
Yeah.
Why not, Luke? He'll have something.
Yeah.
Autoluke is definitely outside in like a circle of random people, smoking some gnome clover right now.
Playing hacky sack and shit.
Yeah. I was imagining.
Yeah. You kind of like step outside to get some air, and he's like, "Yo, Cass,
Oh,
you
thank
want to
God.
hit this?"
Please, yes. You know what? I don't. It doesn't matter right now. I'll turn into Cass. Is this? This is good enough. And I join the smoke circle.
All right. Okay. As you all end your night on solid land after ending up where you started out before you set off to free Chalice, your second night of celebration. That is where we will end this session and pick up next time.
All right.
Full circle.
That was
We
fun.
made it.
Didn't
Yes,
die.
we have the
Didn't
ship.
die.
And you've got your ship back.
And we have control of it too. That's good.
I mean, we
Badass
already
ship
had
now.
control of it, then
Fucking
I just
worse.
effed things up, but
It got
Well, the
rocky,
ship
but I
had
think
been
that's a
carrying-
good idea.
I thought it was not going to be that risky. I'm going to be honest. If I knew it was that risky, I might not have done it.
Right when Alex started saying like broken mind or broken soul, I was like,
And it's
oh
like-
no.
I was like, I thought that sentinel was empty.
They have made
Like,
multiple movies about this exact scenario in different media franchises.
Yeah.
Oh,
I feel like sometimes it's my job just to say back the thing that you're trying to do out loud so that you can hear it before we start rolling dice. But sure enough,
I think-
I wrote down.
one thing I'm gonna do is I've got a shitload of cardboard laying around. I was looking at buying with ships for the miniatures. I think I'm actually just gonna build one out of cardboard because it'd be more to what I think it looks like according to the map we've used multiple times.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna build a ship for this because this was now we have a ship, so that's getting made.
Oh, and well, Jasmine, you sent me a message saying that you bought Tailspire and you're trying to figure out how to get it to run on like a because it's like blowing up
Mhm.
your computer.
Literally sets it on fire every time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Damn.
God damn it.
So this might be bad timing, but they added this thing recently where